Hello, fellow homebrewers. JP here, and I want to introduce to you the brand new Brew-Built X1 Conical Series available at More Beer. More Beer sells the highest standard in homebrewing equipment, and the Brew-Built Conicals are just that. They're made from mirror-polished 304 stainless steel, and they come with loads of features that you and I have been looking for. They have a full 2-inch bottom dump valve, which will eliminate your clogging issues, while the sturdy base includes 4 reinforced legs, just like those big Pro tanks do. More Beer also carries the Brew-Built line of options and add-ons like casters, pressure kits, and even external glycol chillers. So you can find out more about the new Brew-Built X1 Conical Unitanks by going over to morebeer.com for detailed videos on the entire line of Brew-Built Conicals. You can trust Brew-Built with your next fermentation, and you can trust More Beer to find the right conical for you. Brew-Built at morebeer.com.
Beer is about drinkability. Doesn't matter the style.
You guys are like walking beer Wikipedia. That's the first time that you've ever accepted me as a person.
Or you have a fermentation in your gut.
I'm jet propelled at all times.
How many guys do you think that you have the privilege to slap?
Somebody who's never tasted a commercial example, and this is how you know everything about this beer? Please, you don't.
I think that's bullshit.
I think it's bullshit too.
Wow. Are you guys going to arm wrestle?
No.
We're going to teabag fight instead.
Yeah. You heard of Junkyard Wars?
Can I get another high five, Beavis?
Now, live from the Brewing Network studios in Northern California, this is the radio program for home brewers, craft brewers, beer lovers, and beer geeks. It's your only source for live beer radio that brings expert brewers together with, well, expert drinkers. This is the radio program with a head on it. This is The Session.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to The Session. My name is Jason J.P. Petros, who I was actually called more handsome than funny today. And I'm still trying to figure out if that's an insult. With me is Uncle Dr. Sully.
Hey, how's it going? The studio's a little vacant. It's just you and I. I'm excited.
Yeah, me too, man. Me too. Sean O'Sullivan, of course, from the 21st Amendment Brewery and restaurant, I suppose, right?
It's a brewery, it's a restaurant, it's a production brewery, and it's so much more.
And to figure all that out, you have to visit. That's really what it is. Let me turn my headphones off. I can't hear my headphones. Let me turn my That's too loud. Turn my headphones down. Turn my headphones down. There we go.
Okay.
We have a good show for you guys today. We have Ogopogo Brewing on the show, and they are from, I want to say San Marcos, which I believe is correct, right, Bev?
That's right.
Thank you very much. Ogopogo Brewing. We have Ryan and Jason. Oh, what the fuck? Oh, yeah, that's right. I have to turn
my microphone isn't on.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, yeah, oh, okay, yeah. I'm talking right now, but you can't hear me because you didn't turn my microphone on. So
that's true.
Take that.
That's true. Yeah, I met the guys before the show. Seemed like nice enough dudes. And we're going to have a few beers for us to drink, and we're going to be just chit-chatting, man. Same kind of shit we always do.
It's
and
fun.
I'm excited about it. Yeah, it's a good time.
It's just you and I. That was I walked in. I walked in here, and I was like, what's going on here? Am I here for the wrong? Is it the wrong day? Is this the Sully JP mixtape show?
You know, to be honest with you, I thought that I was here on the wrong day. Because I walk in and everyone's like, "Oh, hey, JP, you hosting the show?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And then as I walk in, like, there's nobody in here, and there's crap everywhere.
Yeah,
and
I'm usually here first, but I was late today.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't know, am I hosting the show?
You had to turn the lights on.
Yeah, it was really. I mean, there's like stuff everywhere, and I'm like, I don't know. So I burrowed in and made a nest, and then it's 5:15 and nobody's here.
Yep.
And the Brewing Network fails to function if I'm not here to clean up after them. So
yeah,
I heard that on the internet somewhere.
Oh, I just sat here and just screamed for Bev until she finally showed up.
Rocking back.
I made
and forth.
everything right.
Yeah, for sure. Before we get too far afield, everybody, I want to thank our sponsor, More Beer. Our primary sponsor of this show is More Beer. Go to morebeer.com, and they have absolutely everything you need to make great beer at home. And when I say everything, I mean, everything.
I got to tell you, just
tell me stories.
This is not a paid plug right now, but you know, our production brewery in San Leandro is just literally around the corner from those guys on Marina, and so when we're doing fun stuff in the brewery, funny stuff in the brewery, I'll run down there, and they're great. They take care of us, so
awesome.
Definitely stop by. Good for the craft brewer, good for the home brewer.
Oh, good for you, good for me. Good for us all.
I'm gonna sell that little tagline for
taglines. Yeah. I feel like it's what you do as like an entrepreneur and a creative type. As you get older, you just think of marketing for other people.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is why I'm doing it now. I think of marketing all the time.
For me, it's just that one's free. Yeah, that one is free. You can take that.
This is just a snippet of what it would do, what I would provide for you if you signed me on as a consultant for 5 years. I don't know what the accent is, but I'm doing it.
It works. You just did like 2 or 3 there, by the way.
Yeah, I know. Man, let me tell you a story. Sully, I have been sick as a dog.
You mean like physically? Like the
not
flu
mentally.
Or
something.
There you go. That's for emphasis. Thank you.
Yeah, excuse me. I missed last Monday's show.
Oh, wow.
This is how sick I am. I'm so far back. I think the show's on Sunday. But I get sick. We come home from Chico, and I'm like, I'm not really feeling all that great. And then a couple days later, hits me. I'm out. I'm in bed for 5 days.
What?
Yeah. Which I'm.
What can I ask you? What you have? Is it like?
I don't know.
Are you puking, pooping, snotting, achy?
Yes.
Fever?
No. Well, I had barely.
What did you say no to? No.
I had a mild, barely a mild, temperature. It never broke 100.
Low grade fever. Go ahead.
Yeah. Low grade fever. Usually around the 90s, 99. Obviously in the 90s, dummy. But 99 point is really what it was.
Yeah.
Fucking just tired, felt like shit. Drug my spare TV because I'm super rich because I'm a podcaster, so I have a spare TV.
Pull it off the shelf. Yeah. You got 4 or 5 just up there.
I ripped it off the wall and just sat in my bed, laid in bed and played video games, and then napped and just ate top ramen. And it was basically I was 22 again. It was kind of nice, but then I got my whole house sick. Oh. Everybody at my house, Taryn is now home.
I saw your baby on
with the kid.
Instagram is sick.
Yeah, she's sick now too. Although she's getting over it, and it's our first household sickness together.
Well,
it's something special.
You should take pictures and commemorate and put it in the journal.
That's right.
So you're out. You were actually in the fire zone, nearby.
Yes, well, sort of, kind of. We did have a fire in Oakley that was about a mile away from us.
About a mile away is not that far. I mean.
No, it wasn't.
Were you evacuated, or was it almost evacuated?
I think it would have been. We would have been a little more concerned about it had the winds been blowing our direction, but they were blowing the complete opposite. So I'm like, it's the fire's.
So what I'm getting at here, Jason, as I'm diagnosing you, I'm asked Dr. Sully right now.
Yeah.
Is were you affected maybe by the air? the smoke in the air?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think I was already not feeling well at that time. I think that was a Saturday. It was a Saturday, yeah. So I was already. So
you just
sick.
Got this as a random person would by
I think so.
Touching a doorknob and licking your hand.
Yeah, well, licking the doorknob and touching my hand.
You had that Thursday before the fires that you didn't feel great.
Yeah, I think it was Chico. Honestly, I feel like Chico got me sick. Chico's a weird town. I don't know that I necessarily like it all that much. It's just It's a weird place.
Well, I have Ken Grossman on the line right now. I need to talk to you about that.
Hey, Jason.
What are you saying about my town? I just learned that you say so complimentary things about my pale ale. I see it all the time on Instagram.
This is our community. Yeah, it's a weird. I can't put my finger on it. I was telling Taryn, I was like, Chico's weird, but I can't tell you how. It's just it's like Berkeley, but if cattle ranchers lived in Berkeley, it would be that kind of vibe. I don't know.
I mean, there could be it might be a little bit of, there might be some pollen that you might have,
strange pollen.
Pollen, you're just going to say pollen over and over again. Well, I'm glad you're feeling better.
Thanks, man. Me too.
You look great, though.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate
You're more
that.
handsome than you are funny.
Thanks. Thanks. I don't know who said that, but she sucks. Whoever she was. You want to do a Twitter game?
Yeah, let's do one. I got
do
one
a Twitter
for you
game.
Right now. I'm sitting in the Twitter game seat. I feel like I should have come prepared.
It's all right, man. Let's see. The Twitter game today is brought to you by our good friends at the Wine and Hop Shop Wine and Hop Shop and figure out all your stuff for making wine and beer, because they're equally important. And the best part about making wine and beer is that you sort of can share a lot of the equipment.
Oh yeah,
and I like that. So a lot of homebrewers, you start making wine too, man. It's easy.
did. I made wine for a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're exactly right in what you just said.
Wine and Hop, good people supporting the show, and you should support them too. So check it out. All right, this is in the news. Definitely just came up with this on the fly, but we just got word. I just got an official email right now. The Brewing Network has been invited to the White House.
Wait, whoa,
yeah.
Wow.
But we're not really sure why. So I need you guys to help us figure out why, like, what did we do? Because I know, like, the championship sports ball guys, the baseball guys,
things, yeah.
you get invited for, like, stuff like that, or
you show up, you get your McDonald's, you get your Burger King, sitting right there on a big table.
You get the thing. But what the hell did we do to get invited to the White House? So that'll be interesting to figure out.
So the reason, what's the reason why the BN was invited to the White House?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good game. I like that.
Oh, thanks, man.
I'm going to actually text some things over under an anonymous name.
Under your 5 dummy Twitter accounts.
Exactly.
All you do is just amplify the 2NA Twitter.
Exactly. 2NA Alfred.
I would love that, man. I would love that. If you want to support the show, and why wouldn't you, to be completely honest, why don't you go over to Amazon, or actually go to our website and grab the Amazon link and do your Amazon shopping with our Amazon link. That helps out a lot. You can also donate and be a recurring donor to the BN Army. And every month you are entered into a gift certificate drawing for $100.
$100.
For more beer.
Wow. That's very nice of them.
Yeah, I think so too. And yeah, that's about it. That's about all I have. So the show's over, and it's done.
Let's play some music.
No, we were talking before the show, Sully. I'm like, I don't have like I feel so unprepared for the show because I've been so friggin' sick and just not thinking about anything, and then I feel like I'm just old. Like I feel like I'm getting super old, and then I can't remember stuff.
You're looking across the table of a man who is balding and graying and dying in front of you right now. I'm literally, every second that passes is another second closer to death for me. I'm 56. Would you just buck up here and get it together? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but at 56, you have more hair than I do, and I probably have more gray hair than you do. So now,
all right. I feel like we're playing tennis now. Like I'm trying to get you out of this hole.
Yeah, I'm all right.
Listen. You're going to be fine. The show's great.
Sure.
Yeah.
The show's excellent. The show's wonderful.
Yeah, I just got back from Cincinnati.
Yeah.
I was out there.
Are your arms tired?
I went out. I went out to. That was such a bad one. I'm not going to laugh at your jokes unless they're funny from now on. I went to Rheingeist, which is in Cincinnati. It's a great brewery.
Yeah.
And they do a rare beer festival every year.
Okay.
I've been there 3 times, and they invite a bunch of breweries to come out, and it's a wonderful space. I mean, you hear about Cincinnati. Cincinnati gets a bad rap back in the days, but it's totally coming to its own. There's wonderful breweries there. And so I'm actually, this is a paid political plug from Cincinnati, or not paid,
the
political,
Cincinnati
but
Tourism Commission?
Yeah, exactly. But
well, that's cool. What's a rare beer festival?
So what you do is you don't bring like your mainline beers. So we sent 2 beers. We sent beer from our Tales from the Kettle series. This is a series that we do where we have the staff of the 21st Amendment. You know, you can be a salesperson, you can work in the kitchen, you can be a brewer or whatever, and everybody divides up into teams.
Yeah.
And then you brew a beer, and then it's judged by the San Francisco Brewers Guild, and then whoever wins, we produce that beer, we distribute it nationwide. And we made this beer, this Imperial Milk Stout, called There's Money in the Banana Stout.
Okay.
Milk Stout, I think that's what it's called. And, so we sent that beer, and then we sent Monk's Blood, which just came out. Monk's Blood. And it's just a fun, chill festival. I mean, there's probably, 50 breweries there, something like that. And Brian Goulding, who actually used to live in the Bay Area, he used to work for Dogfish Head. Mm-hmm. So he went back there and started this brewery in Cincinnati, and they're just killing it back there. I mean, it was like they just struck lightning there. I mean, they're literally like, it was like there wasn't really a brewery, a brewing scene there.
Yeah.
And they came in, and the whole town just like, it was like one big hug on both sides, and just huge support. So go to Cincinnati.
Yeah. And stay there.
So I just got back yesterday.
Well, good. Well, you look refreshed, mighty refreshed for a guy who just traveled.
What are you having? What's going on there?
It's bugs. Fucking bugs, dude. If it's not junk that Bev's complaining about, it's bugs that I'm complaining about.
Anyway, just got back, took the day off, so I feel pretty good right now.
Yeah. Excellent.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Speaking of not feeling very good, Warren. Can we talk about Warren? How fucking annoyed I am with Warren right now?
Yeah. So last time I saw, he was in his van driving, or his RV.
Yeah. So he left, and I'm sure that Jay talked about it and waxed poetic on the last show.
Oh, it was a big tear fest
thing, right?
Yeah. Kim brought in beards for us.
I saw that. Yeah,
it was really cute.
yeah.
She did a good job. Where's she, by the way? Wasn't she here?
I don't know. Who knows? Okay. But who knows with Kim? She rides the wind wherever she wants to be.
I just imagine she's just a jet setter. She has her own private plane, and she's going. She's just because I don't really know her. I just learned how to say her last name.
Yeah, which is Szymanski, I think is what it is. Yeah, but Warren and
Warren.
Actually, we recorded on Saturday. I was feeling sick on Thursday. I had to record for Ears Up. Go to earsuppodcast.com. And then Friday I was deathly sick. Saturday woke up and I recorded an episode of Heads and Tails with Warren.
Oh.
He called in remotely from
the road?
Corvallis, Oregon, as a matter of fact, and we did this really cool interview with La Alesana, which is a distillery in Patagonian, Argentina.
Oh, okay.
Or Argentinian Patagonia, because Patagonia spans into Chile, apparently.
Sounds like you learned something.
Yeah, for sure. And so I'm like, oh, hey, man, so how's Washington, right? Because as everybody knows now, we beat it to death where he left us to go up to Washington to figure out a location.
Yeah.
To build his distillery. He hasn't even made it. Didn't even make it into Portland yet, and it's been a week. I'm like, what?
What's going on?
I don't know. So I saw on social media that I think it was on Halloween he was in Portland. Like, dude, you left a week and a half ago, and you haven't even made it.
You could have been to Portland in 12 hours or 10 hours, whatever it is.
Right. It was so weird, man. So I don't know what he's doing.
What is going on? I didn't really talk to him about this.
Yeah.
He's going to go there and just take his time to look for a place. I mean,
yeah.
What's with his bank account?
Well, I think he has a few locations in mind, and so he's just going to figure that out logistically. He knows sort of where he wants to go.
So it sounds like he's meandering. He's just sort of slowly going up there and looking at this as like an extended vacation.
I mean, yeah, but how slow is he going? It's like he's walking.
Well, number one, it is Warren.
Yeah.
But number two, if I were Candy, I'd be pissed off. Because I'm like, then why aren't I going with you or whatever?
Oh, she's not with him?
No.
Oh.
So I feel like Warren...
If you had to write the story on it, it's like, yeah, I'll be there in a day or two, honey.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
I feel like Warren's just kind of doing Warren. And he's like, oh, well, I might as well stay here. What else do I have to do? And meanwhile, literally everybody else is like, but you left for a reason that you're not doing this reason.
Not anymore.
And so it's me and Sully today.
Did you see him at the iFly?
I did see him at the
indoor parachuting thing.
Yeah. Skydiving, indoor parachuting. You're just floating.
You did that? You saw him there?
I guess not on social media or whatever.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know, man. Kid's weird. But I'll tell you what, we did all our things. We're going to take a break.
Okay.
Then we're going to come back, and we're going to talk to the boys at Ogopogo Brewing. And I'm excited, man.
I am, too. I love the name. I want to talk about that name, for the whole show.
Yeah. I love the name. Apparently, they're doing a collaboration with Drake's. That's kind of fun to talk about. So we have, some Bay Area ties to chit-chat with the boys about, and it's going to be a good time. So hang on, everybody. It's the session, and, we'll be right back.
You're tuned into this session.
Because life's too short to listen to crappy radio.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. Thanks for sticking with us. I forgot in my old age, in my disease and mucus-addled brain.
Yeah, what happened there?
To do the feedback. which is arguably the most important and popular part of the show.
You know, I didn't want to say it, but that's actually the only reason why I listen.
It's the only reason you come in. You want to see it in person.
Yeah, and I was expecting you to do it, and you didn't. You said, we'll do it when we come out of the break, and I was like, phew.
Well, that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to alleviate pain.
Yeah.
And the pain is you missing out on feedback.
And make me happy.
That's right.
Yeah, so thank you for completing me.
Before we get to feedback, of course, I want to tell you about Beersmith. Go to beersmith.com. Get your 21-day free trial of the best software for home brewing around. It's good stuff. You have nothing to lose because it is free. Brad works really hard. He puts a lot of cool stuff in there, a lot of options for you to do, a lot of stuff you didn't even know that you needed. And, I do kind of like that where I don't want to say overdeveloped, but Beersmith is so much stuff, right? There's so many options to work with that it sort of allows you to learn. I don't know anything about this. Maybe I should look into first wort hopping or water chemistry. For me, it's always water chemistry because I'm stupid and I hate dealing with water chemistry.
It's a little bit of a hurdle for everybody.
Yeah, for sure. But you can deal with all that stuff and more with Beersmith. Go to beersmith.com. 21 days for free, and if you don't like it, you're out literally nothing. You tried some stuff, and maybe it doesn't work for you, and that's totally fine, but you're wrong.
You'll be back.
Yeah. Well, they all come back.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has a 100% return rate.
You may, cancel after 21 days, but you definitely are, re-upping.
You're definitely going to re-up. All right, let's do some feedback. Let me cough for a second.
Again.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. We got the boys from Ogopogo here, too, but we're going to get to them a little bit later.
I'm just going to repeat that name over and over again because I love it. Ogopogo.
It is fun. What is that called? Alliteration or something like that, right?
Ogopogo?
Yeah.
That's palindrome.
Palindrome, that's what it is. It's not alliteration.
Come on, you knew that.
I'm stupid.
You're just not feeling well.
No, I literally didn't know that. Let's see. Feedback, of course. Brought to you by the handsome young gentleman at the Beer Law Center. Go to beerlawcenter.com. And if you are going to open a brewery or distillery, even if you don't live in North Carolina and you need help navigating the national sort of paperwork that you have to do and all that federal stuff, John will help you. Go to John at the email him, John at thebeerlawcenter.com, I think is what it is. But more importantly, just go to beerlawcenter.com. John's a good guy, and he will help you. And even if you have questions related to California stuff, he'll help you. You can't, take him to court over it, but he knows what he's talking about, so check him out. All right, here we go. The first one is from Nate, and it starts out, Session Crew. Suggestion to book Bierstadt Lager Brewing for your show.
Oh.
Ridiculously good lagers. All Reinheitsgebot. I have a problem with that word.
You did fine. Keep going.
No, but I mean, can we just have an English translation and make it easy for everybody?
German beer purity law.
There we go.
But you have to say that whole long thing.
That's true. Okay. Just had a Helles at the tap room after recently returning from Munich. Closest to the real thing I've tasted stateside. Pretty sure JP will appreciate their anti-juicy NEIPA attitude also. Thanks for the incredible content you all put out. Cheers, Nate. Yeah, that's basically, I remember at GABF it used to be Falling Rock. Everyone got to go to Falling Rock. Never leave. If you leave Denver and you haven't been to Falling Rock, turn around.
And
you're going to spend time in some kind of work camp first, and then you're going to Falling Rock, and then you're coming home. But now it's Bierstadt. Like this GABF, it was everywhere.
Yeah, it's amazing beer. It's funny. I was just telling you about this festival this past weekend in Cincinnati, and Bierstadt was one of the breweries pouring, and they were pouring that beer, and it was like everybody. I mean, all the brewers, we were just like all night long.
It's funny, man, when you
get... It's a good beer. It's a good beer to have. It kind of counters everything else.
Yeah. When you get one of those lagers, man, those hard-to-do lagers...
The slow pour.
Yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough to beat.
We're guilty. We went as well.
Did you go?
You did?
Yeah. Did you take a picture and put it on Instagram of the beer?
We did not.
Well, then you got to go back now and do it.
That's right. Yeah. Actually, book your flight right now. Go to kayak.com. Kayak.com, supporting the Brewing Network. No, I don't know. I would like to go. Oddly enough, this next email is also from Nathan.
Whoa.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on here. Hi, BNers. Yesterday I was at a beer festival in an old jail. And he says, here in Australia, every second building is an old jail. All right. And wouldn't you know it, walking around was a unicorn vomiting a rainbow. Excited lunch meat was yelled. High fives were had, and it was the highlight of my day seeing the deep track being represented here in Australia. Haven't got much else to say. You guys are still doing great work after all these years. Love you all, Nathan. I love that he took the time to write that he doesn't have anything else to write.
But I got this thing about lunch meat, this obscure reference to an old show.
Instead of just pressing send, he just wrote, well, that's it for me.
That's all I got. What's going on with that?
I might just officially
We got to bring that thing back?
I don't know. Lunch meat?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying. Jay refuses to do it, and it's dead. It's officially dead. You and I can bring it back.
We're doing it right now.
Excuse me. Yeah, we can just talk about weird beer news. God knows there's a lot of weird beer shit out there.
I miss it.
Yeah.
We'll bring it up at the next meeting. Lunch meat will come back.
That's
I'm
right.
saying it right now.
That's right. This is from another Justin. He says, hello, Justin. I completely understand why you would dig deep into what seems like an interesting background, your guest being a former priest. I guess this is the last show, Bev?
There was a priest.
Okay. Bev doesn't know.
Yeah.
She didn't listen either.
Did she just nod rather than say
No, sorry. I was reading the Twitter things and I only heard half of what you said.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
The last guest was a former priest?
Yes.
Nice.
Fascinating story.
All right. But anytime I hear, do me a favor, Bev, and just take your headphones off for a second. Okay. Anytime I hear someone praise God, I cringe a little. I won't place all the blame on you since it's hard to change conversation when there's awkward momentum. Anyways, just had to let you know, I still greatly appreciate the session. Another Justin. All right, you can put your headphones back on now.
They're already on.
Okay.
She did take them off, though. I did see that. She actually played along.
All right, well.
I don't know why. As I was taking them off, I was like, why? But you know, you're not going to like this.
I'm trying to protect you.
Shut up.
This last one is from Ryan.
Oh.
Hey, guys, love the show. Can't wait for tonight's episode. This is like a fresh email, which I never get. This happened right before the show.
Oh, wow.
I can't wait for tonight's episode. This past Friday, we had the can release party for our local homebrew club and Melvin at our tap room. It was cool to hear a few weeks back you guys giving some love for Will on the show. I have a 4-pack for you guys if you would like me to send them your way. JP will love it. P.S. Still waiting for my Twitter game prize.
Oh. How does that happen?
What's his name?
Ryan.
Send me an email. It could have gotten missed.
All right.
Definitely possible.
Okay. Ryan, email Bev at bevo@thebrewingnetwork.com. Maybe I'll get it to you. I don't know. We'll see. All right. That's Twitter Game brought to you by Beer Law Center. Are we done now, finally, Sully? Can we get to our friends here, please?
They've been waiting here. They're just sitting there. They're drinking their beers, and they're
like,
rolling
why
their
do we?
eyes. Like,
you guys didn't come here just for the show, right? Like, you were doing other shit in the Bay Area, then you're like, we should probably just do this.
I think this was the linchpin
for
the visit.
Linchpin. Good choice of words.
Yeah. So how, on a scale from 1 to 10, is it, how bored are you? Because
what Jason is really saying is he welcomes you with open arms, and we're having a wonderful show.
That's right. Jason and Ryan, welcome very much. Thank you very much for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
All right. We'll get there. We'll get there eventually. We're running a little slow here today, boys. You know what I'm trying to say? We already have beers in front of us, but I want to go through your backgrounds. I'm looking at the show notes, and the one thing that sticks out to me, first of all, is Jason just moved out of the brewery.
I didn't know that was in there.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Congratulations.
Thank you.
How long were you in there?
Yeah, what's going on with you guys down there?
A little over 2 years.
Wow. I'm glad it worked out.
We moved into the building June of 2017.
Yes.
And I was still the head brewer at Mason Ale Works at the time, and I started splitting my time back and forth. And then around August, September of 2017, I pretty much made the leap, but being a head brewer, I didn't make a lot of money.
Yeah, that's weird.
It is weird, isn't it?
I'm making a move to start this business, and we discussed early on that I was going to need a place to stay.
Yeah.
And when we first discussed this, I think Ryan had a guest room, but then he has his family in town a lot. And so I was like, I'm going to have to live in the brewery.
I love that that's the excuse. I mean, you could stay here, but you never know when my family's going to want to stay.
Hey, where is the brewery, by the way? Did you say that?
San Gabriel.
San Gabriel.
Okay.
So we have a little space above our office that's got 5-foot 2-inch clearance, and
all right.
When oddly enough, my girlfriend actually moved up there and lived there with me for almost all of 2 years. She's also our tasting room manager.
Okay,
but she is tall enough that she can stand up in the space. Where
Okay.
I could not. So doing laundry is no fun.
Wow, that's commitment.
But we moved out on Tuesday.
Hey!
I now live in a house. Things are going well.
Is that weird where you can just go, I can stand up fully erect and that's fine, and do laundry at the same time?
It's just nice to be able to go home when our tasting room is open and I don't have to hide somewhere.
Yeah, that's got to be awkward because we all do weird stuff when we're home alone, and not even just, whatever you're thinking of right now, but just noises and smells, and you just want to relax. But how do you even unwind during work hours when there's stuff happening down? Like, did you ever overhear a conversation and you're like, I could fix this, but I'm not working. I need to leave it alone. Yeah.
Usually it's just kids.
Yeah.
Or just drunk people laughing.
Those are kids.
And I'm like, I just want to go to sleep right now. I already said like once. I was worried about how many times I would say the word like being a Southern Californian.
Bro, we're all Californians here. Let's embrace it. I'll say a lot.
I'll get the like meter out. We'll count it.
That would be hard. Separating from a lot of the brewers that we've talked about, and just from being adjacent into this industry, it is hard to separate. Where it's not you work at an office and you go home and that's it. You don't have to think about it. You're sort of on call. I mean, look, you're here at 7:00 on a Monday night. I mean, most people are not working, but you're still doing it. So there's a lot of times when you're sort of on the clock, whether you want to be or not. But to have no space to get away from, it's got to be challenging.
It certainly was. There are some benefits that I know now that I leave the building. I am going to stress out when I'm home. There's been
you're one of those guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had a solenoid get stuck open on a beer that was 2 days into fermentation.
Oh yeah.
And it was around Christmas. A friend brought me in a bottle of rye whiskey, which we pretty much had finished. And I caught this, and I was like, "Yay! It's 2 a.m. I am drunk, and I have to figure out how to warm up this tank right now."
Yeah.
But I was there, and I caught it.
Okay.
So we didn't have to dump any beer. It was a success.
Jeez. How did you guys get started with in the brewing industry in general?
Yeah,
let's go with Ryan first. Ryan's just kind of sitting around here.
Yeah,
he's.
I started as a home brewer, as I think most of us have started out in the industry. My brother actually started home brewing. I went down to San Diego to visit him, and we brewed a batch of beer, and I was like, oh, wow, this is great.
Yeah.
I need to give this a whirl.
Yeah. Were you a big drinker before then?
Not really, actually. I used to be a professional baseball player before.
Oh, nice.
Going into beer.
Okay.
Which, ironically, I didn't drink much when I played baseball.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I could see both sides of that. As a professional sport guy, you're probably just partying a lot. That's what they say. There you go. Yeah, that's what I mean. Right. But I would imagine you really have to take care of yourself in order to be at the top.
You're an athlete. That's what they say. That's what it's called. So you probably can't go out that. But I mean, I hear baseball players are like, you've got to play all those games. What is it, 161 games a year or something like that, at least in the major leagues.
Yeah,
and
I'm sure it's 142.
Yeah, I mean,
damn, only a little bit.
Only
less.
a little bit less. So I guess you're right. And you're living your life, and you got to go out and tie one on once in a while.
Hell yeah.
Maybe you play the next game a little fuzzy, but you're still out there doing the work.
Yeah, we get 2 off days a month. So usually the night before an off day, everybody
parties it up a little bit. Yeah. Okay. So you weren't that big of a party guy. You weren't that big of a beer drinker, and then it's your brother's fault.
Yeah. He's the cause of all this. He's out there actually. So
he is.
I blame him.
Well, that's why he's out there. You tell him why didn't I get invited? Because you did this.
Yeah. Exactly.
So you were doing baseball, and then you were just.
It's called playing baseball. Yeah.
I like doing baseball.
Let's say doing baseball.
You were performing in a sport.
I'm not a sports guy, so I just totally showed myself just right now, outed myself right now. So you're doing baseball. I'm going to lean into this. It's like you were doing something.
There you go.
And so what was the leap? Like, all right, I'm going to do something else now.
I just kind of got stuck. I wasn't enjoying the game as much as I used to. I was getting more and more involved in brewing and doing research and upping my production. I was brewing in a closet during the season. So that was really fun. And so thinking that I was going to be retiring soon anyways, so why not go into this industry, which, seems to be growing at an exponential rate. Everybody I've met has been great. So
yeah.
And this was down in the L.A. area, Los Angeles?
It was in San Diego.
Oh, San Diego. Yeah. Okay, well.
Damn. And you were a pitcher, right?
Correct, yes.
Okay. You guys, I think of pitchers
so
as not really
pitching.
having... You're doing pitching. You're one of those guys who do pitching, right? You don't have, like, a big shelf life anyway, right? Because a lot of pitchers, you blow your arm out after a certain number of years.
Yeah.
In any sport like that. But, yeah. Okay, so you were thinking, how do I move on into the next thing? Yeah.
Yeah. Do I really want to go through with the surgery, or do I want to go into something a little bit more fun?
Right. A lot more work, probably, I would imagine, for a lot less money.
So you started how long were you homebrewing for?
Probably about 2 or 3 years, and then I went to the UCSD brewing extension program.
Oh wow, you got it hard then. You got bit by the brewing bug really hard.
I did, yeah. Whenever I do something, it's always like, all right, here we go. 100%.
Sure. Okay. Probably the sports mentality of let's push it to the limit and let's go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
So how did you guys hook up? How did you guys meet?
We actually met in San Diego. I had already been brewing at Golden Road, and
the old GR. Yeah,
we both worked there at one point.
Oh,
and we met at St. Archer, so we'll just get all that out.
Wow! Everywhere you go, you followed by a wake of money.
So when I started at St. Archer, Ryan was running the lab. He was the lab manager there, and I had a little bit of lab experience when I worked at Golden Road, and so I had moved back to take the job at Mason Ale Works, but they were behind schedule, and then I had a friend who blah, 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 introduced us.
Yeah.
We hit it off. Actually, Ryan's baseball life, we have, like, very different but similar backgrounds. I was a touring musician before I got into beer.
Okay, you have a musician vibe. Like, both of you have the past vibes, right?
We look like
musician, baseball player. Yeah, for sure.
You're not like just green home brewers. Like, hey, by golly, I want to just brew good beer.
Yeah.
No, you all have you definitely have some road look to yourself.
I was a computer scientist for 20 years, and then I decided to shift. No.
Well, at St. Archer, they make you do like 2 weeks on the can line just to make sure you're not an asshole. Like, okay, this is how they ran things.
I feel like that's a good bar to set of
Sure.
like if you can make it with working hard and not complaining about a bunch of shit, because I imagine can line isn't necessarily easy work.
Well, I like the way you looked at me when you asked that question, because we have cans. We still have beer in cans. It's like, anytime you package anything, it can be repetitive, and, especially a smaller can line, which can be very, intense, as you guys know. We've worked on it for a while. It breaks down, and they're very finicky devices, so...
I do like that aspect, though. You make people do, what is that considered, the lowest level position kind of thing?
Yeah, really? There should be more respect for it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, there's actually a big part of what we were doing in the lab while working at St. Archer. Ryan had started the sensory program, which they didn't have before. And he would have the packaging people try the beer, do triangle tests on a regular basis so they could be familiar with the product that they're packaging every day. So that they should know what it tastes like.
Taste like.
No one from St. Archer works at St. Archer anymore that we worked with, but there was a certain someone who put an end to our sensory program because he walked in and said, it just looks like a bunch of people drinking, which was heart crushing. Ryan set this entire program up, and we had been working on it for months. We're going to, understand what our product's going to taste like months down the road, whether it's warm store, cold store, blah blah blah. The things that everyone should do in a sensory program, and
that's amazing to me. That's the sort of the fascinating part of commercial brewing is how your product changes and how your consumer will ultimately approach that beer, and what you're doing on the packaging is
that's where
probably the first or maybe even second thing that actually matters most.
That's where the tires hit the pavement. I mean, you can do everything great upstream. You guys know this.
Last line.
If that's it. If you don't package it right, then whatever you did great up, further up in the hot side and the cold side, that's just done out the window. So.
So RIP to your program, dude. That sucks.
Oh.
Did you have lab experience
6
before?
years ago?
Yeah, you're getting over it. You okay, Ryan? You want to hug it out right now?
No, it's okay.
Sometimes I cut myself,
been
but
long
nobody
enough
can
now.
see the scars.
Long live the triangle test. That's
Goodbye, true to brand.
Did you have lab experience before working there, or
A
Golden
little,
Road, rather?
Not at Golden Road. I did an internship at White Labs for my UCSD program.
Okay.
So they said you needed to do an internship program. It's like, well, I'm already working at a brewery, so why not try to do something a little different to understand a different aspect?
Damn. I don't think I would have that foresight. I would be like, yeah, I'm already working at a brewery, so let me do the exact thing I'm already doing to make it easier for myself. Why do I want to grow my my knowledge base and do
makes
more
it
work?
easier. And
Yeah.
you can do things and create triangle tests. That will be discontinued. I don't know why I'm harping on that, but and it's very unusual.
That does suck, man.
Unusual.
He is a bit of a sponge. Like, we would learn things together, and he would know it immediately. And like a month later, I would still not know what I was doing.
That's the musician side of you right there. It's like, I lost that brain cell in Athens, Georgia. On the
In a little
second
hole in the wall.
Funny that you say Athens. I do have an Athens story that's not important, but
you might have to tell us later.
That's right. So you meet at Golden Road.
St. Archer.
St. Archer. All right. And then what happens?
we had both planned on doing this.
Yeah.
I had a separate business partner before I left Golden Road to move back to San Diego with my tail between my legs. And we would talk about it in the lab all the time. Like, this is what I want to do. I want to start a company that treats its employees good, doesn't pay people minimum wage to run a lab.
That's right.
So
that's weird that you would have that conversation at those places. That's weird. I don't understand.
Well, we just talk about it all the time. I mean, we were just sitting in the same lab together all day long, or both sitting on a tank dumping yeast down the drain. I'd be like, there's a lot of downtime in brewing. And at one point, Ryan actually said to me, he goes, "Why don't we do this together?" And I was like, well, you don't need me. And he's like, you actually did say, "You're right."
I don't remember.
Yeah, but I'm going to just keep talking.
But you said, "But we work well together." And I was like, "You're correct, sir. We do." And he also has a better mind. Like, Ryan handles all of our finances. I could never do this. This is something that my musician brain would never be able to process.
Yeah.
And I'm the arts and crafts. Although we both brew, we both write recipes. We're always, communicating what it is we're going to make. But, like, I don't know how to keep the lights on. That's a definite Ryan chore.
Yeah,
I feel bad.
He pays the bills.
Yeah.
That's the most important part, man. Yeah. Too many breweries go out for not paying bills and not managing that stuff correctly. So that's a heavy crown to wear, man.
Yeah, super fun. I love it.
Do you really love it?
Oh, God, no.
Yeah? Okay. But is it one of those things where you knew you had to do it, or do you have some finance background? You're like, well, this is I can do this, but I don't want to do it, and then now you're just doing it.
No background in it. Just learning online, like, how do I do this?
Yeah.
Google, what? Yeah. How do I make an invoice?
A balance sheet.
Yeah.
That's pretty much how we built our brewery, too, is with YouTube.
Yeah. Oh, is that your phone? Is that I said Google.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
That's that. Yeah, you said Google. That's hilarious.
Sensitivity's up pretty good, man. Okay,
so you're going to tell you how to open a brewery right now. Yeah, that's right. You can learn it right now.
I will direct you to the live stream of the Brewing Network right now with Ogopogo Brewing. Yeah, so it sounds like you're finding things that need to be done, and the more hats you can wear, probably the better. At startup, I would imagine, right? You don't want to hire random people to do stuff when you can just, search on the internet. I don't want to say the G word because I don't want the phone to go off again.
I think the only large tasks that we did not handle when building the place was sprinklers, and we actually did some of the concrete work ourselves, but we hired someone to do the cellar itself.
Yeah.
But Ryan took a welding course at a community college and then just practiced a lot, and he welded all of our furniture before we had our CUP, so we just had the building and we could put nothing permanent in. So I was like, I'll just start building furniture.
Okay.
But he also, our whole brew house is used dairy, and so Ryan and his cousin welded all the second walls, put manways in, did all the piping.
Nice.
I am not an electrician, but I did probably 90% of our electrical. We did hire someone to come in and make our control panel.
Man, that would freak me out.
Yeah,
like,
that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, even in my house, we had like pre-wired for ceiling fan shit or whatever. So like, eventually we'll just get ceiling fans. And every time I would put a ceiling fan in, I would sweat. Like my back would be sweaty because even you're hooking up 2 wires and with nuts or 3 wires. See, I don't even know anymore. It might not be grounded. Maybe our ceiling fans aren't grounded.
Yeah, that's
I
why
don't
you're
know.
sick.
Yeah, but I couldn't wire 90% of my business, especially if I'm going to live there for 2 years. I'm not that confident in, and I guess in my well, fuck it, we'll see kind of aspect.
That part was pretty convenient. I was like, I know I'm going to live in this loft and I need power up here. And so I was like, I guess I'm going to run some conduit up here and put a couple outlets in.
All right.
I'm gonna build a shower so my girlfriend doesn't kill me.
Yeah.
She'll need to bathe.
Yeah.
You maybe not.
Yeah, it's for her, not for you. Right.
In the beginning, I used a camping shower. I would get one of those bags and just hang it on the door to our patio.
Yeah.
And I would just squat. Open the valve, and I found like a bartending job locally that I would work like 3 nights a week so I could make a little bit extra cash. But I would be underneath it. I don't know why I'm doing visuals.
It's fun. It's fun. Yeah, it's all right. You're on camera at some point, I'm sure. You'll be fine. That's crazy. A camping shower.
Yeah, probably only for like 3 months I did that. When I realized my girlfriend was going to move up and live there as well, I was like,
yeah,
all right, I got to figure out running water.
You got to figure out.
Got to be.
What a saint, by the way.
Are you still together? No, we're not. That ended last Tuesday.
Yeah, thanks for bringing it up. But
yes, we are still together.
Nice.
She is our tasting room manager, and we just moved into a house in El Monte on Tuesday.
Wow.
With our beautiful 2-year-old pit bull named Lou.
I don't know that I could move in. Like if my girlfriend, if I had one. Let's just be very clear.
Go ahead.
I don't know if I could move. Hey, come and live with me above my business.
In this little area that I can stand up. You can stand up, but I can't. And there's like a shower with some marginal electricity going on here.
Yeah, just crouch. You'll be fine.
What are you feeding her? I mean, what's going on there? Is there another deal or?
I am baffled that she made this decision. There's definitely some hardships of working with someone that you're in a relationship with as well, and. I think with us living there, this really tested us. So this is it's kind of weird that it just happened this week because I'm out of town for like 5 days. But
oh man,
it's a very exciting thing.
That's cool.
We have a separation now, like a place you can go.
Yeah,
you can clean yourself. Plus, the shower that I built was in our cellar. I built it out of Unistrut and conduit and just put a shower curtain on it, and it was on a plastic pallet, and I had a hose going from the sink in our tasting room. This should have been used as a hand washing sink.
Right.
And we would sometimes have to shower when we were open. And if you peek through the cellar, you'll see me come out of the shower. I'll be wearing board shorts and throwing a towel on real quick, make sure no one sees my shirtless body. But that's over. It's
okay. I feel like that's some sort of OSHA thing. Maybe.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
What's that man doing back there? I distinctly saw a half-naked man taking a shower.
I'll have a pint of the half-nude man in the background. Thank you. Thank you very much. So you open. How's the beer? How's the beer received?
Well, hold on a second. Tell me. Let's back up a second here. What's the deal with the name?
That's mostly Ryan.
Okay.
Do you want to explain it? Or you want me to explain?
Oh, you're better at it.
Yeah. All right. So when we were working at St. Archer, this is kind of a cool thing for us. We never second guessed the name. Ryan, really into palindromes, says, "Hey, what if we name it a palindrome?" And I'm like,
"You were like, I have to look up what that means."
Yeah, I did. And he's like, like taco, cat, race car. I'm like, oh, okay, fascinating stuff.
You're like, I don't need you anymore. I gotta go. My shift is. I got a thing now. I have to stand in the corner over here.
But he's reading off a list. I think it was in alphabetical order, so it took a while before we got to Ogopogo.
Was there a time when you're like, I've gone into business with a child?
Yeah.
Like a big man child.
I think it was Tourette syndrome or something. Like Rain Man. He's like he can weld. He was a baseball player. He can do the finances, and you're like, what's going on
And they
here?
can lift a palindrome.
I don't recall if you knew what it was already, or we Googled it. Like, because he said Ogopogo.
I think we Googled it after.
And I was like, what the hell is an Ogopogo? I love the sound of it. It just sounds ridiculous.
It sounds like a British new wave band.
Yeah.
It really does.
We get called Oingo Boingo Brewing all the time.
Really, do you?
Well, you look like it. Go
Oh,
ahead.
jeez.
Yeah.
I guess that's good.
Good old Evan Price from Green Cheek likes to call us that.
Oh, okay.
He's a funny man.
He is. I'll take it as an endearing sentiment. But so we look it up. It's a lake monster in British Columbia in Lake Okanagan, and I hate naming beers. It's probably one of my least favorite things to do that comes with this industry, not in life. There's plenty of other things that I like less.
Sure. Wouldn't that be amazing if that was like the
that
thing?
Was it. It was the
I will literally
high water mark of the whole thing.
I will run over kittens, but I will never, ever name a beer. Why do you hate it?
Because everyone's always trying to be clever. Like,
that is true.
It's clever or
creative.
Yeah. I get it. I understand why it's fun for some people, but I don't think that my brain is geared towards this at all. And when we discussed, like, oh, cool, it's like the Loch Ness Monster in Canada.
Yeah.
Like, what if we just name all our beers different mythological creatures or folklore? And then this all didn't happen at once, but eventually we're like, yeah, we can try to tie in ingredients or where the style originated to the folklore from that region. And so now when we name beers, we just Google, make sure that people can pronounce it, and then roll with it. Or make sure that someone hasn't used the name before, which we ran into recently. And
we have those people outside the window here.
Actually, come in. Let's bring them in, and we're going to confront you guys. Well, that's cool.
Well, that's a great naming culture. I mean, that's one of those things.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got a company, and we have funny, weird, long names as well. But it's like if you can lock into something like that, then it makes it all easier. Just like what you said, you can just, and it's very specific, and it goes right to your brand. So I think that's wonderfully brilliant.
It has worked out for the most part. We
just take the goddamn compliment. Just put it in your pocket and go home and say, Sully said it was a good idea.
We made a Russian Imperial Stout early on, and we loved the creature, but his name is Vodnoy, and it's spelled Vodyanoy. But it's like
Vodanoy.
Yeah, it's a bearded frogman that floats around on a log and torments children. It turns out a lot.
I love that.
A lot of these creatures torment children.
They all end in tormenting children.
Yeah, I respect that very much.
So Ryan's wife actually had the idea to put on our chalkboard where the beers are listed to have a section that says, "How do I say that?" And then we put it in the parentheses. Well, we don't really correctly phonetically spell it out. We try to have a little bit of fun with it. But it helps a little
for sure. Yeah, because the last thing you want as a customer is to feel awkward about pronouncing a thing that you want to pay real dollars for.
Yeah, you just go, I'll take number 2.
Yeah.
People will just be like, I want the Belgian white. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, which one? Say it, sir. No, they have this rule where they have to say the whole name. They don't get the beer.
Stand on the bar and pronounce this into the megaphone, please.
Try again.
Correctly.
I ordered one of our beers here, and I tried calling it by its name, which is fairly simple, Druid. Okay. And in feeling bad about it, I just looked up and said, I'll have the number 9.
Oh, you did do that.
You backtracked on your own naming. Oh, man. Let's drink this Belgian wit. Speaking of the Belgian wit that Ryan brought up here.
What's the real name?
What is the name of this?
Boo Man, which...
That's easy enough.
Boo Man?
We originally were calling it Bowman because it's spelled Boeman.
Bowman, yeah.
But it's the Dutch boogeyman.
Okay.
My dad's wife is from Belgium, and she came to the tasting room, and we had our pronunciation up there, and we spelled it BOW-MAN. M-A-N. She was like, no. It's boo, man. Like, boo.
Like a long, like a long O, even though it's an O-E.
I was like, oh. Yeah, I didn't know that boo was international. It's the same everywhere.
You go to Japan and it's boo.
That is interesting that the O-E is just a long O sound.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I mean, they speak so many languages in Belgium.
Yeah.
Like Dutch, Flemish, French, English. Right?
Yeah,
sure. I don't know, man.
Maybe a little
I've
German.
never been.
I thought you were just going to keep going.
Yeah. It's like, what else is he going to pull out? I'm really impressed with the Belgians right now. The Belgians are great.
So what's this beer about? Tell us about the beer.
It's pretty traditional Belgian wit beer. I mean, I always say it's not rocket surgery. I mean, you have your base malt, some wheat, throw some oats, and then use like a good Belgian yeast and coriander, bitter orange peel. We put golden naked oats in it as well.
Oh, wow.
It's like the one outlier, and just water treatment I think is an important part of it as well. We do put a little calcium chloride in the mash and in the kettle, as well as a little sulfate. Actually, I think it's a little sulfate heavy to balance our water in San Gabriel.
Oh.
What's your water like?
It needs a sulfate. That's all I know.
To be honest with you, all I can do is because I'm not we're talking about water chemistry is not the easiest thing to get over that hurdle.
No, not at all.
So I make comparisons to what I understood water in other places that I've worked, and recently reading like the new IPA. I forget the name of the author. But he gets into so much chemistry.
Mitch Steele.
Is it Mitch Steele?
Yeah.
There's so much chemistry in the book that I got to a point where I was like, why am I having to search, like Google search this while I'm reading this book? I need to educate myself. So I actually ordered Chemistry for Dummies recently because I've tried reading the...
No, the water part to me, and I've been doing this for a while, is like lost on me. It's like the black hole for me in brewing. You know, I rely on somebody else to talk to me about it. But I mean, I lived in Southern California for a long time, so the reason I was asking about your water up there, because the water where I grew up when I first started brewing was crappy. I mean, it was just like, it was water that was pumped from, probably Northern California or, from the Colorado River somewhere. And it was just on its journey, the minerality was so high, but it was also relatively soft in some ways. Or hard, no, excuse me. See, there we go. Yeah. So I used to brew with distilled water, and I would just add back. I could do that like on a 5-gallon batch. So I'm always like, it sounds like you can make pretty good beers down there. I imagine your water was probably pretty hard. Minerality is pretty hard. There's probably a lot of calcium there. So you're just trying to balance it out, which means you could probably make great IPAs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think most of Southern California's water source changes throughout the year.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I have not been on it as much as I'd like to, but just recently, sent samples out to Ward Labs from our hot liquor tank, just to kind of have an understanding of the difference between what our water is like in our hot liquor tank in comparison just from when it's coming out of the carbon filter. And even reading that report, I'm like, okay, I need an education. I really.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I think, you said, the water in California comes from so many different areas. It's like the people there. I mean, there's there's not a lot of. Well, there are a lot of people from California, but there's a lot of people outsiders from California. But I feel like it's the same with the water. For me, the water down there was just like, I couldn't. I had a hard time with it. But if you can tackle it, what you have to do, I think it can go to your benefit. So that was me, kind of doing a backward, I don't know, but you're going to be fine.
I can't tell you why, but it's great.
Well, it tastes great for somebody who just, you just sort of talk down your beer a little bit just by. It's pretty straightforward.
He always does that.
Yeah. You sound like me. I'm self-deprecating too, so I'm looking you right in the eyes right now. I'm the same way. This is a great beer.
Which is
really
funny
delicious.
about you, because you're the first person to call people out for being self-deprecating, but then you do it.
That's because I know it, because I know what it sounds like. When I hear it coming back at me, I'm like, am I speaking right now?
You're like, I know this. I know this about me. This is a great wit beer.
Yeah.
It's really well balanced, but it has that. Maybe it's the oats, the kind of in the middle part of the mouthfeel.
Yeah, it's like it's
kind of a toasty, soft thing happening.
Yeah, it's like the mid part of it's has a nice roundness to it. It's you probably wouldn't pick up.
No, that's great.
Well,
that's a really good beer.
Thanks. It's clean. It's not oxidized. It tastes great.
And I love a good wit beer. Like I didn't really notice that before, and I think wit beers are a lot like lagers, where the industry's sort of coming back around to these beer styles that lower alcohol, take some finesse to do really well. We're getting beers like this, where 5 years ago, I don't think people were really making wit beers at all. And if they were, it was like, here's a bunch of coriander and some two-row.
Yeah, well, Jason, we can talk about your love of hazy beer, IPAs right now.
Let's do that.
Because this is exactly in your wheelhouse. I don't know if you listen to the show, but Jason, we don't want to bring it up because we'll go on for 20 minutes.
Well, we're going to taste some. So,
but this is a great way to start.
Yeah,
because
this is a good beer.
This is really, really nice and delicate.
A lot of I've seen a lot of brewers get asked, like, what's your favorite style of brew to make? And I think they answer the question wrong and usually say, like, lagers. That's their favorite beer to drink, maybe.
Yeah.
This is my favorite bear to make because it's the easiest beer.
Oh, you're differentiating between making and... Right.
This is hands down. Our mash tun can produce 30-barrel batches, and we have a kettle that can handle a 30-barrel batch, but our mash tun can only handle 30 barrels worth of grain if it's below around 5% alcohol. So if we need to make this beer in a 30-barrel batch, we can. We don't send it to the whirlpool because there's not a lot of hops in it. It usually ferments in like 3 days, and we pitch at like 0.75 cells per ml. Mm-hmm. We definitely underpitch to stress the yeast, and it still just finishes super fast.
Wow.
And it's a 60-minute boil. Cleanup's super easy. Yeah. Hands down. Let's make this all day long.
When I'm done, I can take a shower in the room behind there, and I can be in bed upstairs in 10 minutes. So how does this beer do at your place? It must do really well.
It has actually, since day one, been the most popular beer in our tasting room.
And as a business person, sir, I mean, that's ideal because something that you can brew quickly, doesn't hang out a long time, and doesn't take a long time to make. Ingredients are pretty basic, and you can kick it out. That's a winner right there.
Were you guys surprised that it's your number one? I mean, who goes, you know what I really want is a wit beer? Nobody vocalizes that.
San Gabriel didn't have a brewery.
Okay.
There isn't really another brewery within a 5 mile radius.
Yeah, wait until tomorrow.
There's 4 that have opened.
And we opened in June, and San Gabriel is in the San Gabriel Valley, and it's really hot. And so when we first started, we were still contract brewing out of Mason Ale Works, where I worked formerly in Oceanside. So we were able to do a couple batches there just to put into distribution, and then we were able to do a couple right before opening because our brew house wasn't finished before we opened the tasting room.
Okay.
And so we had a pilot system that Ryan built out of God knows what.
There goes Ryan building things again.
I don't know what, but we drove up in it.
And so we only had a handful of beers when we first opened. And
I think it was one of the 5, right?
Yeah, and it just kind of... It was a success. It was like a refreshing beer in the summertime, and so we just become known for it. And then when we produced our first hazy IPA, then that quickly became the second most popular beer.
But does it outpace the wit beer?
No.
Hell yeah, dude. I love that. I love that.
Pace, like how quickly we move through it.
Oh, in the tasting room, I still think the wit's the number one selling, right?
I think in distribution, we move through
that I could see for sure, but those people don't know anything. I think it's your tasting room people that really are very smart. That's a fantastic beer. I'm trying not to wax too much on about it, but it's
right. It's good.
It's resonating.
Yeah, I like it a lot. So what's the setup there? Your brewery? You said you have a 30-barrel system. Is that
technically 15?
Okay. Sorry,
Ryan. Ryan, answer that question.
I will answer it because I built the system.
Actually, if you don't know.
So it's a 1,000-gallon boil kettle, so we are able to do a 30-barrel batch in it, and I kind of oversized the mash lauter ton in expectation we'd be doing big beers, but side effect was, oh wow, we can do a less ABV beer as a 30-barrel batch instead of having to do 2. So
nice.
Yeah.
So you have the brew house, and then what's the cellar situation?
We have 3 15-barrel fermenters and a 30-barrel fermenter, and then a 30-barrel brights.
Wow. So you're kicking off like what, 1,500 barrels, 2,000 barrels a year?
No, we're probably more to like 800 to 1,000.
I literally just made up a number. I was looking you right in the eye, just going to see what lands. And then if I nailed it, I'd be like the smartest guy in the room.
That's right, boss.
Oh my God, he just did
so
that.
He really knows what he's talking about.
I know the market, said Gabriel. I know what you're doing right now.
God bless.
And you just opened.
Yeah, just over a year. I think this year I always shoot low, because Ryan was saying earlier. I said we'll probably produce around 800 barrels this year, and I guess I'm wrong as well. It's higher than that.
Oh, congratulations!
So you're a year. You're in September, I think, is what it said, right?
Yeah.
Damn.
Well, we opened technically in June, but we didn't have our grand opening until September, and we were going to move that date next year because September is the stupidest, busiest month in beer, and you have your anniversary in that month. Is really hard to find a date that something else isn't going on.
Sure, GABF I think probably is right that time, and that's just enough right there. Yeah.
So what was it? I mean, so you said there wasn't anything going on in San Gabriel. You're the first brewery there. Is that what you said, or one of the first? Or
there's a lot of massage parlors.
Oh hell yeah! See, now that's a whole thing that you can make beers on.
I did not expect that to come out of your mouth. I was looking at you like he's going to say there's orange groves, and
it's a big automotive repair area. I don't know. There's a lot of light industrial.
There's a lot of illegitimate business in San Diego.
I would say ma and pa, small business. So you were the first one that went in. You were the head of the race on
say something nice about San Gabriel.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do here.
They actually have been great. We looked all over Los Angeles. Ryan's wife works in Los Angeles, and we met in San Diego, and it was kind of important for him to live in the same city that his wife lived. And I was like, I was already planning on doing this in LA anyway, so let's search LA. We looked in the city limits, and just from understanding from other business owners, everything takes 9 times longer inside the city of Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So we started looking outside Los Angeles, and when we met with San Gabriel, they got our CUP condition of use permit. I always forget to say acronyms.
You're like acronyms.
You're
they got it done in 2 months.
Oh wow!
Oh God!
Crazy.
Yeah.
They were also awarded last year the city in Los Angeles County to put forward the most new businesses. So they are really trying to change the shape of the city, and they're bringing in a lot of new things. So it's not just hand jobs and
sex traffic. All right.
Some wonderful Asian food as well.
I mean,
it is great food. It is the best. People think Chinatown in LA, but San Gabriel definitely has the best Chinese food.
That's the way to go.
Yeah.
Some nice Korean barbecue or whatever.
I wonder if anyone from the city of San Gabriel will listen to this.
They're playing this at the city council meeting right now.
You're like, they have it on the big screen at the city council meeting because you're like,
we'll send them a bouquet of oopsie daisies,
edible arrangements. That resonates with me. Okay, let's drink this next beer. What is this next beer we have?
This is the Druid. It's our Marzen or Oktoberfest.
That's fine.
You can't change the style now. I mean, you're locked
beer.
in.
Amber lager.
There we go.
It was just October a few days ago. It's fine.
I'm just going to keep saying everything is straightforward.
I think you should.
This is actually Ryan's recipe. I don't know what hers.
Ryan, talk about
hers.
Tell me your recipe right now.
Is the hops? There's a Vienna, Munich, a sprinkling of Special B. So I love that malt.
Yeah, I read in the notes that that's your favorite ingredient, and I read that and I'm like, this guy's had to have been a fucking home brewer. Like only a home brewer would go. You know what I love?
Special B.
It's Special
I will
B
use it in everything, including the blonde. Special B. Special B.
That is one malt that can just murder your beer if you are overhanded with it too much.
Definitely, yeah.
That's why I put 4 kernels in it.
Yeah, just the idea of a special B is in this beer.
We did not read each other's submissions, so that it was news to me. I did not know that was your favorite ingredient.
There you go.
Good for you.
I always try to sneak that in. It's in our Russian Imperial Stout, too.
That seems more appropriate.
Yeah. I think it's like there's 10 pounds of Special B in this Mars in a 15-barrel batch, and then the Russian Imperial Stout maybe has like half a bag or something around there.
Yeah, we got to use it up.
A subtle thing.
Yeah.
We went to Admiral Maltings today and learned that the most common malt to be found that's been hanging out in a brewery for the longest amount of time is Special B.
Not at your brewery.
No, there's one that a mouse has chewed through, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that'll happen, man. Special B. Fucking homebrewers, man.
I like Special B. I use it as well. I compliment it on your choice. We put that in Monk's Blood. Just
that's inappropriate.
I think it gets a bad rap.
What is that?
This is a good beer. I like this one,
this
too.
It's really nice, too. It's clear, crisp, easy drinking.
What else is in here, malt-wise?
I believe it's just Pilsner. So Pilsner, Vienna, Munich, and Special B.
Okay.
Probably extra malt as well.
Yeah. I think it's the same as our Mexican lager, except for the Special B, which is...
I could see that.
Our Mexican lager is just a Vienna lager, which we didn't brew.
Yeah. Damn it.
I think the hops are I think that is the only different ingredient. There's probably more Vienna in the Marzen than there is in the Mexican lager.
Yeah, less Munich in the Mexican lager, too.
You definitely get the Vienna. You can get that little toasty note from it. That's a nice beer.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Is this something you homebrewed at all, or is it...
I did, and then I just tweaked it when I revisited it when we opened up.
Are there a lot of homebrew recipes that carried over into commercial production?
I don't think so, actually. I think there's only a couple that we kind of brought over from our however many recipes we've made in the past. Like, okay, I really liked how this one turned out. Let's see if we can convert it into the commercial scale.
Yeah,
I'd say there's more than you would think.
Did you homebrew, actually, Jason?
Yeah,
okay.
I was homebrew. When I failed at music, I went back to bartending. Most musicians do.
Sure.
And I worked at a craft beer bar that had 51 taps, and I was like, what the fuck is all this?
Oh, God, yeah.
I went to culinary school, was the only thing that I did after high school as far as education. And so my brain was like, okay, if I learn how to make this, maybe I'll understand it better, and I can relay it to the customers who come in.
Yeah.
But back, because I get sidetracked really easily.
Were you a drummer?
Guitar player, singer, piano.
Oh, damn.
But like our porter is a recipe that Ryan and his brother used to brew together as homebrewers, and he showed me the recipe. I looked at it and I said, I don't see anything wrong with this. Let's just do this. Let's just scale it up.
Yeah.
I'll say rocket surgery a lot.
Right.
It's not. I mean, making beer is not that hard.
Right, making beer good is challenging.
Well, I also don't.
It's not difficult.
I don't think that is that hard. I think, like knowing how to problem solve when operating a brewery is really important. And just execution, attention to detail.
You would think it would be hard. Like if you go to like any bar and drink 10 beers, you'd think it'd be the most challenging mentally thing that you could ever possibly do is make good beer. In my opinion, but I'm an asshole.
I mean, I've worked at. You already know where we worked, but
right,
I've worked at a brewery that did not make good beer.
No, but a lot of hef. So sorry.
Yeah, it's really hard for me because I don't want to ever say negative things about it. I have friends who work there. And I listened to the Worst Beer Blog interview with.
I fucking love that guy.
The Full Pints recently.
Yeah.
Who also, he said a lot throughout the whole
Sure, he's like a construction worker. What does he know?
Yeah. But they both said in that conversation they were having that the beer at Golden Road is better now. Than it ever was.
Yeah.
And I have friends who work there, and I had let them know. I'm like, did you listen to this podcast? Like, you got complimented by the Worst Beer Blog, which they have, like, on their chalkboard or the whiteboard in the brew house, like, what's on deck to be brewed, and one of them was like, have you tried the half? Like, they're aware of it.
Damn, they're self-aware.
Yeah.
All right. I like that. I mean, I think you have to be, to a certain extent. You can either be really pissed off and annoyed or Just go with it, because what do they care?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of friends who would even look to find another brewing gig elsewhere. Most breweries can't afford to pay their employees what Golden Road is paying their employees.
Yeah.
It's pretty hard to leave that job.
Is that, and not that I want you to talk shit, but if you want to, that's fine. But is that hard to sort of reconcile in the beer industry? Like you want to be in the beer industry, and as craft beer brewers and myself a craft beer enthusiast, you want to support the independent brewers, but if you want job experience that pays well, maybe you can't always do that. So is that a hard thing to reconcile, like with your friends, for example? Or maybe that's too personal. Maybe other stories that you've heard from people you definitely have never met.
I have a lot of opinions on this topic.
I think it's fascinating to me.
I definitely would never shit on another brewery or someone who works at a brewery for doing what they do.
Unless they paid you. Yeah.
When I started in this industry, my first professional gig was Golden Road, and I got a job there bartending or beer tending because I knew that I could weasel my way back there as a home brewer. I'm like, I'll make friends with the brewers eventually.
That's kind of how it works in any organization, but yeah.
And so it started. I volunteered on their can line, and I would just sit there for hours putting cans in boxes going, oh, this is the life. Eventually, they're like, we can pay you. We can pay you to do this. I'm like, get the hell out of here. You're going to give me money to put cans in boxes? All right. And that went on for a while, and my hopes were, because I was building relationships with the brewers, that eventually they would let me, like, weasel my way around. And I would get yeast from them all the time. I was constantly home brewing, and eventually someone from HR was like, you can't work in both places. Like, this is not going to work.
Like front of house and back of house kind of thing?
Okay. You had to choose. And I was like, well, I make a lot more money than minimum wage, because you make minimum wage bartending, but you get tips.
But you get tips, right? Yeah.
So
that wasn't enough. The tips weren't enough to, like,
I chose to not work in the brewery, but when it was presented to me, the lead brewer, who's now at Rheingeist, said to me, he's like, this is a shame, Jason. I'm really sorry to bring you this news. But it's like, what if I just make you an unofficial intern? You can do whatever you want. Every day you can just come in like it's your dreamland.
Wow.
And if it works with our schedule, we'll let you learn stuff. And they started slow. Like, all right, now you get to clean kegs. Like, all right, now you get to fill kegs. But eventually got to the point where I was working in the lab, I was working in the cellar 4 days a week, and then I got to brew every Wednesday. And it was a huge learning experience, and I would never trade that for anything.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what my point is.
Neither do I. It's fine, though. Because that is the kind of stuff that we want to hear about.
Yeah, I mean, you were trying to take it to some other place, I think.
Yeah.
But,
the opposite side of the spectrum of not being grateful. But I do think that this industry has taken advantage of people for far too long.
Sure.
It is very interesting to be on the other side of the spectrum, being a business owner now, where, like, we know we can't afford to hire anybody and pay them a competitive wage because we're not making enough money right now.
Sure.
But I would never want to do that to somebody. I would never want to take advantage of someone. And so I think we both have the understanding that, we run this brewery and we're going to do it as long as we have to. And I'll probably have a hard time letting go of control, for sure. But, like, I guess there's a big difference between our scenario where we're two brewers who started a brewery instead of two people with an idea and a marketing background and a lot of money saying, okay, let's
start a brewery.
Yeah, like the entrepreneur that, like, has just been sort of schooled or, had business experience to produce a widget and sell it and says, well, craft beer is hot right now.
Yeah.
Let's lean into this and we'll be successful at it. You're approaching it more of the passionate side. You were passionate about doing this, and you were doing this for other people, so you probably said to yourself one day, we could do this for ourselves, and that's why you decided to start the business.
Yeah, I mean, everyone who starts a brewery warns you, don't do it.
Get out while you haven't done it yet.
Yep. Go ahead.
I'll tell you what, let's take a break. Yeah. We've been at it for a while now, and I really appreciate it. Number one, I need to use the restroom.
That makes two of us.
Oddly enough, not to urine. I just like standing in the restroom sometimes.
Are we going to use the same restroom?
We might.
I might hear you.
No, I'm going to be behind you running the water.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Anyway, we're going to come back. We're going to drink more beer. The boys from Ogopogo. Good stuff. Stay tuned.
Hey, motherfuckers, this is Doug from fucking Society. You're listening to the session on the fucking Brewing Network. Fuck you.
All right, thanks, Doug. By the way, whenever Doug said his name, everyone spit on the floor and cursed his name. Because no one likes Doug. I'm just kidding. I love Doug.
Doug's a very nice man.
Doug is now distributed by the same distributor as us in San Diego.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Our
That's
numbers
cool.
have plummeted since.
So you hate Doug.
I can only imagine. All right, thanks for sticking with us, everybody. We have the boys from Ogopogo on the show, and Bev is pouring some beers for us. And I don't know what they are, but they look amazing.
Well, you just read the can.
One looks amazing. No, that's fine. Give me two of the thing. Hey, Sully. Oh, actually, hold on a second. Let me find the. Sully, why don't you go ahead and tell me what's on your mind? It's a new segment, totally unrehearsed, unprepared. It's called "What's Bothering Sully," or "What's Sully Looking Forward to?"
Well, I'm going to go with the latter. What's Sully looking forward to? And Sully's looking forward to the 21st Amendment Tasty IPA. Is near and dear to our heart, as the 218's heart, as its being Army is. I'm on top. I gotta get you. Swear to God.
Did you just have a stroke?
Beverly just said, "Did you just have a stroke?" Yes, I did. I'm reading it off my little phone here. So, the 21st Amendment's newest seasonal release, Tasty IPA, is near and dear to the BN Army's heart, as it's a collaboration brew with everyone's favorite brewmaster, Mike Tasty McDole, at 6.8% and 58 IBUs with a straw color. Tasty IPA drinks easily, but it's not necessarily easy drinking. The hop forward creation spawned originally from early test batches of Tasty's own home brews. Features a lot of hops that I won't name because this thing goes on too long. Tasty IPA was done as a one-time only beer about a year or so ago, but was so popular it became part of the 21st Amendment's main beer lineup and now as a fall seasonal release. The Tasty image, which originally was designed by Mark McDowell. Yeah, it goes on for a while here, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's pretty good, man.
I'll tighten this up in post.
All right, please do.
Anyway, Tasty IPA. Enjoy it. It's a perfect match, and it's available in 6-packs, 19.2-ounce cans, and on draft where you find good craft beer.
That's pretty good, Sully. Good job, buddy. You did great.
Oh, it only has. That was going on now.
No, that was the rehearsal.
Oh,
We'll do it.
Are we back?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we're
All right,
back.
can I do it again?
Thanks, everybody.
Let me tell you about Tasty IPA. Ben Franklin's on the can.
That's right. All right, we have 3 beers here, Bev? Damn. Correct. I feel like it's my birthday.
Yes, that is correct.
I like you had to ask Bev for that. Like you were literally looking at
Math
3
is
beers
hard.
right now.
Well, they were, look, in
2.
my defense, Sully, they were,
Okay,
skewed.
well,
yeah,
I
one
know,
was
I know
farther
you haven't
back
been
than
feeling
the
well.
Thank you. Thank you. It's hard to see on my small phone. Which beer should we start with first?
I'd say the West Coast IPA.
Which is the middle one? Okay. Let's switch that
I mean,
around
it's
a little
not the brightest. We just biofine. We don't filter anything, but that's as bright as we could get it. It was packaged on Friday.
You're making a lot of excuses for this beer.
I don't know about excuse. No, I just smelled it. I hated it on Friday, and I think
you did?
I think it's all right now.
Is that can shock? No, it was out of the can.
It's like out of the everything that we make at first. And
let me tell you something. I'm really good at that as well. Yeah, you just got it. You just got to stay inside sometimes.
You can't let the demon out.
You can't be like you can't. I was notoriously say, here, try this. It sucks. That was my line. And through 9 years of therapy, I've gotten rid. I don't say that anymore. I just say
generally. Just because, I mean, you're probably constantly tasting things throughout the process, and you understand like where the beer's going, and green rest is a real thing, and we're still working on our dry hop technique. Like it's constantly evolving, and so this is the first time we brewed this beer where we did the 180 Fahrenheit whirlpool instead of just doing the hot whirlpool.
Okay,
the really hot whirlpool.
Yeah. Why are you doing that?
Just I mean, you guys are familiar with this? Okay, you're not fucking with me right now.
No.
I mean, to be honest with you, I have no idea because I don't pay attention during the interviews. But
we may know. But some
okay,
people
want
to know. So it's just not us talking in the room here. There's other people listening.
Don't ruin it. Don't foil it for them.
The idea is that you are going to get more aroma out of the hops. I'm not going to get into.
You're not going to blow the volatiles out at a higher temperature with more agitation in the boil.
Usually like to say the stuff happens and then this. Here we go. All right. Someone told me it was a good idea.
Yeah, every once in a while we're going to make you get technical.
Yeah.
So, and that time has just passed.
And this is this is the first time that we canned this beer.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We knew, like, out the gates, we started canning maybe 4 or 5 months ago. And we use a mobile canner, so it's not the easiest thing to do. Like,
sure.
Scheduling is difficult as far as like getting the cans. We shrink wrap our cans, so we can't just have blank cans on stock and just kind of like work it out whenever and just get labels made because for me the branding's really important. I don't want to just have a bright can with a label on the flat surface. I want the product to look really good at the end of the day, and so we are generally doing like 130 cases at a time. So I knew out the gate, I was like, well, let's not launch with a West Coast IPA. We'll ease into that one. So, of course, our first one was our Belgian wheat beer and the first hazy IPA that we made. The Belgian wheat beer obviously takes a long time to sell. And then we were fortunate enough to, this year at GABF, we got a silver medal for it.
Congratulations.
It was a big thing.
Yeah.
But
what category?
The Belgian wit beer category with 94 other entries.
That's awesome.
But when we came back from Denver, we're like, oh, we have 6 cases left. And we had not planned on canning them again for a while. And so we're like, oh, panic. Not that metals really sell beer, but now there is a little bit more demand for it than there was before.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I was not talking into the microphone.
You're doing fine.
But
let's give him a hug.
We were really excited to finally put this in a can, and I said, let's mess around a little bit and let's do that 180 whirlpool on it and see if we can't get a little bit more aroma out of it. There's still kettle hops. There's first wort. There's a 20. There's a 10.
So you're just trying to just get a little more oomph out of it, and adjusting stuff. Okay. All right.
And
we're also lowering the bitterness. I mean, you're not going to get as much bitterness out of it. It's not going to be as harsh. So, I mean, that's a great thing. We've done it a couple times on our pub system. Actually, I think we do it more often a couple times. Now I'm sounding like you. But we've never done it on the production side. I mean, people get worried, like, drop. And I don't know if we can do that with the programming. So...
are you worried it's going to change just dramatically and the consumer is going to notice?
No, I just don't think we've had a... We'll add... We have a separate tank of Whirlpool, so we're not boiling, actually. But it's above 180. But I think that's a great idea. I mean, and if you notice something, if you do your triangle test...
only if you had a guy who can set that up for you, man.
They're just drinking beer. So as a callback to about an hour ago. So I think it's a nice beer. Yeah.
Thanks. We tried our darndest.
And that's the name of it.
Yeah, that's right. Well, we did a thing. What hops are in here?
There's Amarillo, Chinook, Citra, Mosaic.
Yeah, it's changed every time. But I think those are the 4 most consistent hops that are in there.
All right.
Eventually, Citra will probably leave because we don't have hop contracts. And so we're just leeching off of everybody or buying on spot.
Yeah. Is this a consistent beer that you have that the hops change? Are you worried about people noticing? Again, do consumers, do you think, care?
At one point, we were using Vic's Secret, and then we tried it with Galaxy, and
those are great hops.
They are.
Same branding on the can, same everything.
Well, this is the first time we've canned it, so it's just on draft.
Okay. Well, then
we're very willy-nilly. We never wanted to set out to be a brewery that had core beers. We want to continuously just make new beers all the time. So we're going to start probably repeating some of the beers that we've packaged in cans. One, because it'll save me time on artwork. But a lot of it is like when we're doing, obviously, the hazy IPAs are what everyone's into right now.
Yeah.
We're constantly, it's pretty much the same base recipe for everything.
Yeah.
We're just switching the hops, and since we don't have contracts, we're just throwing in what's available and hoping it sticks. Like, cool. New Zealand hops. Let's see what happens.
Right. Well, it's not a bad idea. I mean, I used to lock into, like, being really specific about the hops I'd add. It was like, this IPA will all have to have three hops, and it will never change throughout time. And then you kind of get into, like, you know, this state of hops now and how difficult some of them are. And then I kind of learned a technique. Actually, Mitch Steele, who wrote the IPA book that you read, who works at a brewery called New Realm now, formerly at Stone, and he has a technique called, like, it's the hop salad. And so you'll have like 5 or 6 or 7 varietals. Like, and what you do is that if you kind of like, if your inventory kind of goes down on one hop, you just bump it up on the other one. So it's like, I call it meatloaf, making meatloaf a little bit, because so you're just sort of like, it's a balancing act. So when if you lose one hop, it'll probably not dramatically change or affect the beer. And it's a fun thing to do. It's like a great recipe way, sort of to create a hop recipe in some ways. So. Not to do it with but use different hops each time.
Sure. That makes sense.
I feel most brewers who brew on this level, like you're consistently doing 15-barrel batches or 10-barrel batches, when you're going to make a dry hop decision, a lot of times it comes down to how many pounds of hops are in this particular bag. And you're like, oh, okay. There's 9 pounds. That's what's going on.
We're going to add that rather than crack open another box and, like, another 44-pound box.
We pay a little extra to get most hops if they're available in 11-pound bags, in 44-pound boxes, so we can have a little bit more freedom to do that. Because when it comes time to sanitize a vessel to do a dry hop, who wants to do that? you got a bag, cut it open, throw it in.
Yeah. That seems easier to me.
Yeah,
I'm all about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's easier, and it's also, inventory management's probably easier, and you're using what you have in front of you rather than being so locked into something. I think that's a great idea.
It's a weird thing, thinking back to being a home brewer, because you think, like, this needs to be so precise.
Yeah.
And then after working on a professional level for so long, you see how much is just like, I don't even want to go get the scale.
Well, and that's
I have
sort of
to cross the room to get the scale.
That's
I'm trying to take a shower here at the brewery.
And that's sort of what I was getting at. It's like, does the consumer actually give a shit, or not even give a shit? Because if you ask them, of course they're going to, they'll go untapped and tell you how much they know about it. But is it perceivable if you drop one of these hops, or if you have 9 pounds instead of 11? Does it really does it matter, or can beer sort of be?
I think the consumer absolutely does, and I think the brewer absolutely does. I think that there's times and there's an opportunity at certain where you can, like, mix things up a little bit, and you can kind of add
like a saturation point,
like a hop salad technique I was talking about. I mean, where you can actually play with it that way. but I think if you're going to put a beer out, I mean, case in point, like Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, like if they didn't put Cascade in there and they put something else in there, we'd all be like, pull our hair out. It's just not. You want that beer to be the same. I think that's what's important about packaging beer, is that the consumer kind of unless you have a program where you're kind of mixing it up all the time, but you really need to have the same. It needs to be the same every time. Otherwise, they're going to look at you funny.
Or with subtle changes.
I think
subtle changes. It all comes out in the sensory. It all comes out in the triangle test.
Okay.
I think that's the benefit for us with not. Genuinely, we're not putting out the same beer all the time.
And that's
constantly changing.
And that's the beauty of, like, the tap room model, is that you have a lot of flexibility. And if you're doing national sales distribution like Sierra Nevada, or any other large brewery, it has to be like the consumer wants it the same all the time.
Well, that's different, but I think
and that's why I said it was different, Jason.
Literally, I was having a conversation with Bev through the window, so I didn't really.
Did your wife know that?
Yes, she told me to have. This is a good beer.
I like this beer.
It's not like super aggressive or I guess aggressive, like a lot of West Coast style beer. It has a smoothness to it.
It's smooth.
Which I appreciate.
Yep.
Yeah.
It could probably use a little more bitterness to be like an official West Coast IPA.
Yeah, you could probably play with that, but I mean, it's really accessible. And
we're gonna play a game right now with Jason. It's I need you to compliment sandwich this. You need to say something nice. Then you can say whatever you want, but you have to end with something nice as well.
Oh, okay.
So go ahead. I want to see if you can do it.
I think that the can work. Artwork is beautiful.
Yeah.
Done by a really talented man.
Okay.
I was going to criticize you on the can. I think the beer tastes good, but the can looks like shit. No, just
Jason can't read a room, can he? Jesus Christ.
It looks great.
No, the can work is good, and you know what I like about the label is that it's like a texture almost. You know what I mean?
The matte finish?
Yeah, it's a matte. It's not smooth and glossy or whatever, but when you pick it up, there's like a different sensory thing to it.
Yeah.
I don't know why I keyed in on that.
No, I noticed that too, but I kept my mouth shut. But go ahead.
There's something about shiny things that make me upset, and so I guess that was where that came.
Yeah, the flat can looks great.
Yeah, I like that. Man, I've seen a lot of like flat matte cars. Have you guys seen this shit too?
Yeah.
I think I love it because who the fuck wants to wax and wash a car? Oh, wash and wax, but like
when it's dirty, does it stand out pretty quickly?
I don't think so. I think that's the point of it.
I haven't seen one. Actually, maybe I have. I think I've seen some Teslas like that.
Yeah.
I guess bird poop is bird poop.
So you're going to notice it either way.
It's true, it is.
Yeah. I like that IPA. It's good, man. That's very good.
What about this next one?
Let's talk about
Jason's favorite. Here you go.
Are you sure you don't want to talk about the West Coast still? Like, West Coast IPAs are like, let's keep on this.
I'm
kidding.
I do enjoy me a West Coast. I mean, to me, that's a style. I think it's coming back. But like you said, you made a hazy IPA. You felt like you wanted the consumer wanted it, so you have to make it.
I think,
and that's just the way it is.
It's important when making something that you do well.
Yeah, that was almost a compliment. You just almost gave yourself a compliment.
Very indirect. Trust me, I was not complimenting this Beer Friday. I'm like, oh, it's so vegetal.
I didn't want to say anything.
There's so much information available that I don't understand why it is difficult to make most beers. For the most part, we have run into a little bit of like a weird competitive edge with some breweries, but for the most part, everyone's really open to sharing information, like how are you achieving this. So this is a style of beer that's not my favorite. But
which one? The West Coast?
The hazy IPA.
We're talking hazy. Okay, good. Okay. I can breathe a little easier now.
When I go places, which is very rare that I go anywhere,
I feel like we're the same person.
We have the same.
I try to remind myself to try hazy IPAs from other breweries.
Oh, we're not the same person. Never mind.
Because I want to know if they're doing something right, then who to ask the right question. But I often don't. I look at the menu and be like, "Oh, I'm going to get this Helles Lager and be an elitist brewer asshole."
Hell yeah!
I will have your Helles Lager, as I am a brewer.
Yes, I demand it now.
I remember one of the first times I met Greg Koch or Cock, I don't know how to say his name.
Greg Cook.
Yeah.
He must have.
It's debatable.
He came into my bar and is like, I can't remember the last time I had an Anchor Steam. I'll have one of those. And I was like, oh, this is what that is. Now I know whenever I hit that level of asshole that that's what I should do when I go places. Like, I haven't had a California Common in a while. Give me one of those. But yeah, I've turned into that person.
Okay. Welcome. There's room enough for all of us. All right, let's drink this beer. Let's talk about this hazy. What is it? Hazy double IPA.
I think you have to put hazy in the right order because if you say it in the wrong, I think you said it in the right order because some people put double hazy.
Yeah, no. See, I worked at Starbucks as a little coffee company.
Oh boy!
And if I know orders, I know how it should be.
There we go.
So let's just that I know about.
Can you hand me the can?
I don't think we have a can in here of this one.
It's on draft.
Okay, all right, settle down. Just asking.
We did release this in can.
Okay.
This one is all New Zealand hops, so the creature is the Hakaturi is the protector of the forest. There's some Maori folklore. I don't know. I want to bore you guys with folklore.
Too late. It's
part of the story, man. Lean into it.
It smells like orange juice.
Yeah, it's
maybe with like a little mango in there or something.
Definitely mango, stone fruit, also, almost kind of like a minty note to it.
Minty. According to the websites of these hop providers, these hops should give you notes of citrus and pine.
I get neither.
I don't get either.
Yeah. I literally get like if you had it's almost
minty,
like
pine. They're kind of like
almost like a pog juice, but it's like if it was like orange and mango, maybe a little strawberry. That's what I get out of it.
Oh, a little strawberry.
So I guess citrus, maybe.
Ryan, you haven't said anything in a while.
Yeah.
What would you like me to say?
Perfect.
Tell us.
Nailed it.
Yeah, tell us about this beer.
So the hops are Southern Cross, Waimea, and Wakatu. 8.5%.
All right.
Very hazy.
I know we were talking earlier that we listened to the Alvarado Street session you guys had, and they used the word diesel a few times. And I didn't know what that was, and
really?
I think that I need to go smell some diesel fuel.
Yeah.
But Joe, our sales rep,
car.
also who helped put this together for us and this whole trip out here.
Oh, cool.
He was explaining it to me.
He can come in. He's out there. He can come in if he wants.
Let's bring him in.
He doesn't need to sit out there. Yeah, go get him.
We should
I don't
definitely
know. Yeah,
bring
Ryan will
Joe
go
in.
get him. Yeah.
He explained it to me as like kind of a specific to New Zealand hop thing.
He can't have any beer though in here.
And he was explaining it like New Zealand Sauv Blancs definitely to me come off like high in sulfur. And so that's something I'm trying to understand with New Zealand hops now. So like Waimea and Wakatu, when I open those bags of pellets, they don't smell pleasant at all. They're like kind of unpleasant, and I'm like going off. I mean, like we're just buying hops from friends. That's what we do. We're like, someone's like, "This was good. You can take it." And I'm like, "I'm gonna just have to trust you on this."
Yeah, you know what's best for me.
Yeah, but putting in the beer, like anything that I smelled in the pellet form, I don't get in the final beer.
Yeah,
Joe. Also,
Joe, what's up, dude?
A huge fan of this show. This is an exciting moment for him.
Who's Joe, by the way?
So he has
This
no
Joe,
taste.
He's our sales operations manager.
Oh, wow.
He used to live in Almeida. You don't have any headphones? Alameda. I don't know how to pronounce anything.
Yeah, get right on that mic,
get
Joe.
right on it.
There we go.
Joe might throw up.
You know how, like, if you go on a really tall roof or, like, a tall balcony and you're staring over it and you're like, what if I just accidentally crawl over the edge and fall off?
Or on purpose. Yeah, I think about that every day.
I'm literally thinking, what if I accidentally just show everyone my butthole right now?
Okay. I did not expect you to say that when you started your story. What a segue.
I'm glad we brought Joe in.
Yeah. All right, Joe.
Well, the sales guy's here.
Yeah. Joe's the life
how
of the
he
party.
sells our beer.
Hi, Bevo.
Yeah. It's like you can buy a case of beer or see my butthole. And you're like, oh, God, the butthole guy's here.
I'm literally going to throw up in my mouth right now.
We're talking about how big of a fan you are.
Yeah, we're talking about diesel hops, and when I smell the hops that I attach the word diesel to, it to me reminds me of more like twine. You know, some of that really rough like twine that has a gas smell. That's what I equate it to.
That's what you think it is.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think it's like diesel. It's like kerosene, or there's some like, I don't know. Maybe being a Boy Scout is like confusing everybody.
I was a Boy Scout.
You never had that like really rough rope that you had to fuck with,
is.
and it smelled like no. Do you remember that?
That's not what I remember from
No.
Boy Scouts.
Well, I mean, we can talk about what you remember from
It's
Boy
like a
Scouts
kerosene,
later, but
kind of a real oily.
Yeah.
You know, almost a chemical-y kind of like.
Yeah.
It's like a Scoutmaster's asshole.
That's right. That's right. Joe's here.
You don't get it from this beer though. You're not getting any diesel.
No, I don't. I mean, maybe a little bit in the flavor, but a little bit. But I think I was saying on the Alvarado Street beer that, or maybe it was anyway. Whatever. I feel like that diesel character in a lot of these new school hops is just. It used to be sort of an undesirable thing, but now it's just a thing. Like in the way that we're breeding hops these days to get some of these flavors and to obviously be disease resistant, whatever. That sort of comes through and just it's more widely accepted, I think, now than maybe 5-6 years ago.
Yeah, it was just like a flavor descriptor that I'd never heard before.
Yeah.
And the second person said it, and I wasn't sure if it was like a running joke because I
It was like we were pranking everybody.
When we were
It's like diesel, right?
When we were fundraising for this, I made a mock-up of one of our cans, and it was going to be called Bengay and pickles. And it was strongly advised by Ryan and another investor to please not use that as the can design.
Yeah. If anything, it's Tiger Balm, okay, and Sweet Baby Corn. This is, look, man.
I really pushed very hard to bring a dry Irish stout for you.
Why didn't you? Which one of these guys didn't listen?
No, they listened. But
okay.
I did a lot of work in advance with a bunch of different locations, including this one, and getting some beer out there. We just settled on a certain number of beers, and that one didn't make it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, these things
fair
happen.
enough.
But I know you love low ABV stouts, and so I was like really pushing for it. And I love the stout.
So what you're telling me is you had the opportunity to please me and you didn't do it.
I mean, I'll suck your dick later.
Hell yeah. Yeah. Joe's here.
Make the host happy.
Well, look, the brewery is in San Gabriel, and that's what we were talking about a little bit. No, this is.
I don't know. That was a good segue.
What does that mean?
This is a nice beer. It's very soft. It has a little bit of a yeast kind of like
that nose is awesome.
Yeah, it's
Can we talk about
kind
that
of
a little
silky.
Would you say it's pillowy?
When you said strawberries, I got strawberries, so that was good. I like that. It's like, oh no shit!
Actually, it warms up a little bit. It really kind of opens up. There's a lot, very much of a citrus note, almost like lemon pledge.
You know what I do? What I do like about the beers, or what I do notice about the beer, is that it tastes like a double IPA. There is still some bitterness to it, and a little firm bitterness to it as well. It's a double IPA, right? Let's just get that out of the way.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So. We've had a couple of these hazy double IPAs that are they're just round monsters. You're like eating a marble. It's like, okay, here's a marble of flavor. It just goes in a circle and doesn't really end. But this actually has like an end point, and it ends in bitterness, which I think is what it should be. Yeah. It's a double IPA, for God's sakes. It's hazy, and that's cool, and it's round and juicy and all that kind of bullshit. But at the end of the day, there's a bitterness to it.
Generally, all of the hazy beers that we make finish out drier than most people would normally have them.
Yeah.
And it's definitely a preference for us. Like, I don't like an overly sweet beer. And obviously, everyone wants their hobby beers to move off the shelf as fast as possible. But we want to give it a fighting chance. Also, another thing that has been a big topic is whether or not you see diminishing returns from over dry hopping beers, and we've learned pretty quickly that we have to find a balance. And so we've worked on this beer a couple of times with different hops. Like I said before, it's the same base recipe. We're just like switch the hops out, see what happens.
Yeah.
But we tried dialing it back on a batch, and we noticed that the aroma diminished a lot faster than we thought. And, there's a big thing where everyone's like, we put, I don't want to say a specific number, but this many pounds per barrel in the
8 pounds per barrel.
Yeah, and it's ridiculous. And there's so much research showing that is going to give more of a vegetal flavor because you're producing more polyphenols and I'm like, all right.
It's putting more green matter in there.
Sure.
Yeah.
So we're trying to figure this out. So we did one batch where I dialed it back drastically, and then this is the batch after that batch where I brought it back to like a medium level.
Okay.
But you're finding your way. I mean, that's important. As you're running a business, you just can't be willy-nilly about your hop additions.
I wanted to make sure we're not just wasting money.
We got money to burn.
Just to take your weenie out of your pants and show it to everybody.
That's right. Or your butthole if you're Joe.
Your butthole.
Well, of course you guys are making money. This guy just moved into a house.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
I'm renting.
Mr. Moneybags.
It's El Monte. I don't know if you've ever been there.
It's kind of a big
El
deal.
Monte.
But we do put kettle hops in this beer. It's not just all Whirlpool, and we split it between two batches. So one batch was an all Whirlpool 180 degree Fahrenheit spin, and then the second batch had a first wort and a 10-minute edition, and then a regular Whirlpool.
Oh,
so
interesting.
We get like a different experience. This is also the most unrepeatable beer ever because we started off with one yeast strain, and it was like trickling along, and it was over. Don't ever brew on the weekend if you need a favor.
That being said, we're bringing it again.
Yeah, and so then a friend happened to be living close to his brewery, and he said, I got some cow. So then we threw cow in, and then it got going, and then finally on Monday, the rest of our Coastal Haze or whatever ridiculous yeast we're using for this arrived, and then we pitched that in time for the second batch to go in. And so it's a mystery yeast profile on this one, which we'll never be able to achieve again unless we really want to torture ourselves.
Right.
And it sounds like you like to do that, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that aroma's great, man.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, when I sell this beer, I describe it as being, because it finishes so dry. Sorry, should I get it?
Yeah, you actually move it. Just move it towards you, too, yeah.
I'm going to just lean into this.
No, moving shit is real hard, man. It's cool. I get it.
My arms are so weak right now.
That's right.
When I sell this beer, I describe it as like, because it finishes so dry, it's not a sweet beer. Like a lot of hazies finish with like a super high finishing gravity.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost a small beer unto itself with some of these finishing gravities. So ours finishes so dry that the way I sell it is it's less juicy and more just really fruity.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, Charlie, our other hazy IPA, sort of the flagship that we sell the most of. Like, it's really pithy.
We don't have flagships.
On the sales side, you do.
Yeah. When you're talking to the third craft beer bar in 10 minutes, you have a flagship, and this is what it is.
It's the one we make the most of, that we sell the most of.
I guess there's going to be a meeting after the show.
In the BART parking lot.
We also don't have seasonals, but our sales sheet says we have seasonals.
Does say that. Yeah.
But yeah, I'd say it finishes, it drinks less juicy and more fruity. So you get the essence of the fruit character from the hop, but it's not as sweet and I don't know.
It's like
syrupy.
fruit striped gum. It tastes really good.
It definitely does. Yeah,
and then it goes away
for about 5 seconds. You're like, oh, this gum is done. I can have another piece now. Yeah,
like chewing on wet toilet paper for 10 minutes.
That's true. Yeah,
that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Great analogy.
I think you have an obsession with a certain part of the body. I'm just saying. I'm picking up on something here.
Yeah, it is more fruity than juicy, and I do.
I'm just going to look
like
at you straight in the eye.
That's fine. It's fine. I can handle it.
I can handle anything.
I can't handle it.
Have you had another brewery on?
I've been to Thailand before.
Shit all over themselves this much?
Faction, probably.
Triple Rock.
Yeah, Triple Rock. Flat Tail, definitely. I think Dave shits on himself, and that's about it. And then you guys.
Just look at three of you.
That's good company.
Yeah.
I'm glad I didn't hear any of this podcast until I came in.
No, you're fine. Yeah.
I was like freaking out.
Like, oh my God.
Well, now you should be freaking out.
I have no idea what they said. I'm going to listen to this on the way home and make them listen to it like 7 times.
Well, it was all about you, really, is what it was. Let's move on to a dark beer.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Which one is this?
This is what we just released for our 1-year anniversary.
It smells great.
Damn. I'm smelling it right now, and it's like a glass of chocolate bourbon.
Yeah, it's with a little coconut.
Yeah.
Damn.
It's just a straightforward Russian Imperial Stout.
Love that word.
Well, with a combination, though, of malts and all that, you can actually create those
Christ.
flavors.
Yeah.
Aged in... I always
Are you going to say it?
I always say
it.
straightforward, just like early times barrels. But it was early times and Hudson 4-grain barrels. It was a blend of the two. But I thought it was kind of a cool elitist move to say, we're going to put it in early times barrels.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Why is that?
Do you buy early times when you're at the store buying bourbon?
As a matter of fact, I've got a case of it at home right now. So
I drink Old Forester, which those barrels were only, $25 more a barrel?
I think they were like $10 more.
Oh, we should have really sprung for the Old Forester barrels.
Early times is like medium level bourbon, high bourbon. I mean, what do you?
It comes in a plastic jug, I think.
It does, yeah. It's a plastic container.
It's classy.
Okay, so it's lower shelf. Stuff. Okay.
But
what's the name of the beer?
It's called Vimana, which apparently this name actually came as an accident. We knew we were packaging this beer, and our anniversary was coming up, and who we source our cans from needs usually 5 weeks to approve artwork and get the cans delivered on time, and we use a mobile canner, so we have to schedule all of that. Most of the artwork that we do is digital artwork that I create in Illustrator. and we kind of
that was definitely the royal we. You do all the artwork.
this is true. I do all of our branding and artwork.
Real quick,
Say we sounds good.
Have we brought in some cans? Have you guys seen the art? Because I think it's like really good.
Yeah,
we're looking at it right now.
We've been talking about
It's not bad.
For this one, I had said, well, if we do barrel beers or do something that's a special release, I would like to use actual paintings instead of digital artwork. And this was a painting that my mom was downsizing her home, and she was just getting rid of stuff. And she asked me if there was anything I could do with it, and this was years ago. And I said, "Oh,
this one on this label right here with the flying saucer."
So I painted the flying saucers.
Oh, okay.
Oh, nice,
and the
dude.
smoke and the fire into it. And it was hanging in our office. And I was like, shit, I need artwork by like yesterday. I'm just going to go get I'm going to go take a high-res photo of this and then Google, there's got to be some kind of UFO mythology out there somewhere. Sure enough, there's these Hindu temples that have like space that is the opposite of a UFO. That's like where the UFOs fit when they would land. I was like,
on top of the
on
pyramid.
the temple, yeah.
Huh.
So I said, cool,
okay,
works for me. I can use this painting. Artwork done.
Were you that kind of guy with like homework? Where it's like the night before an essay, you're like, I don't fucking know, but I'll tell you what I'll do is I'll just drink a lot and figure out when I wake up in the morning.
Words will come together.
Yeah,
I'm a deadline person. I mean, up until recently, we didn't even have a delivery driver. Ryan and I were delivering all of our beer. When we hired Joe, we were like, yay, now we don't have to sell beer anymore. Someone else is selling it. And then one thing comes after another, always. Like, oh, great, now we're selling a lot more beer. We have to deliver a lot more beer. And so then we're like, who's going to brew the beer? Who's going to finish the artwork? Who's going to do the accounting? And so, fortunately, it was like 2-3 weeks ago, we hired a delivery driver. Yeah. And it has been the biggest saving grace.
Yeah, you have time to do
ever.
shit. Well, that's what they say about owning a business, especially being like a CEO or an owner like you guys. If you don't have time to move the business forward and you're just keeping pace, you're never going to succeed. You need to let go of that so you can focus on doing shit that pushes everything forward.
Every position's valuable in an organization like that, but your position has a certain value that you shouldn't be doing something else that would give less value at your position. I'll explain it to you later.
Yeah, let's hang out.
We have this secret owner conversation.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, I've also been in the industry long enough that like I see how hard people work and how
Get right on that microphone.
How
there,
hard
God
the
damn
owners
it.
work.
There you go.
Sorry. I see how hard owners work and how hard members of like whether it's a sales manager or the production manager or whatever. I see how hard they work. I know that they are like constantly trying to do their best. And so when I came in, since I'm already keenly aware of this, I was a brewer before I did sales, so like I get it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to take as much off their plate as I can, and not like let any of my stresses get in their way.
Joe's turned out to be quite the PR person. I mean, he arranged this, like being a huge fan of the show. Having connections at Drake's. We're doing a collab at Drake's tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
He put together all these events. We weren't really planning on distributing in the Bay Area, but he made this trip make sense. Like,
okay. Damn, Joe, look at you.
Yeah, Joe's killing it.
Yeah.
We were
much better than Ryan.
We're pleased as punch with
Deadweight
ourselves.
Ryan over here.
Yeah, I'm a real son of a bitch.
Well, I looked up early times, and because I've been to enough liquor stores, I had to have seen it. And yeah, the label makes a lot of sense. It definitely brings back some memories. But on whiskeyreviewer.com, because you always got to look at reviews, right? The bottom line is that early times isn't great. But it certainly isn't the rot gut it is sometimes made out to be. The stuff is actually a decent product. It's simple enough that ice doesn't ruin it. And it's a big winner when you consider its low price point. And this is the you saw these are barrels that you looked for.
Well, I mean, you're putting beer into barrels.
Sure.
And there is so much that happens in this industry. Well, nowadays it's like we put marshmallows and flip-flops in a beer. And
sure.
Like, okay, cool.
Hey, what's wrong with flip-flops? I'll throw those in the box.
They taste the foamy.
But for a while, it was like, we got our hands on a couple Pappy barrels. And I worked for a brewery that had like 300 whiskeys. And you try these things. And Pappy's cool.
Pappy's
good.
Cool, but it's
not worth the hype.
No.
As with most things that have hype.
Right.
When you taste them, you say to yourself, now I know what hype tastes like.
Yeah.
I'll get the T-shirt. I'll admire it more.
And I guess I'm usually of that mindset where I'm like, I'm pretty sure, like, we have a hazy IPA that we use Chinook and Amarillo. And I said, I'm pretty sure we can do this with Chinook and Amarillo, and it's going to be fucking fine. Like, the kids are going to love it. And it worked. And so the idea, we're pricing barrels, and we're always on a budget anyway. So
sure,
a little bit cheaper. Early times it is. Let's see how it goes. And the result was really positive. They only aged in the barrels for like 4.5 months.
Yeah.
When you combine it with Hudson 4-grain barrel, they're like, oh yeah, okay.
I get that. The Hudson barrels by far tasted
outshined
better.
it. Okay, sure,
so much
sure.
You're like, I get it.
Good.
Yeah, I taste that one.
No, it is actually a good combo because you do have enough of the barrel character coming through, but that
nice.
you definitely get a bourbon hit, and then everything else sort of follows it. And then I describe shit stupidly, but it's like I got bourbon, and then everything else kind of came up around it, and then is now in front of it. And when I smell it, the bourbon is behind it all. I don't know why I feel like I need to describe it like a fucking maniac 5-year-old in a class that you need to stay behind for a couple hours, son, and work on your reading. But
I think that's what happens when you age things in barrels for longer. You're going to get more of the oak character. You're going to get that vanillin and the micro-oxidation that's going to bring out the chocolatey notes and all that. So
yeah, it's definitely chocolate, coconut, vanilla.
That's
really,
good. That's
really
a
nice
good
chocolate
aroma,
notes,
yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
Ryan just said micro-oxidation.
He did. And vanillin too, which...
He's been quiet for the whole show.
Yeah.
He's dropping like
it excites everybody.
The Friday's New York Times crossword puzzle words on us right now.
Yeah, for a jock. I mean, he sure knows the word.
Oh, he told you he plays baseball.
It's true.
Okay, good.
Well, we drug it out of him.
I did throw stuff for a while.
I put that in the questionnaire because he didn't...
So it was you.
Yeah.
So Joe's the reason why we know that you
PR
moved
guy.
out.
We're going to put that on his sales.
Cool.
On his,
They didn't put so much
business
shit
card.
in that, and I was like, fucking idiots.
Well, I started the whole thing with Jason. Oh, you moved out of the brewery. He's like, whoa, I didn't
know that was in there.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't read yours.
Yeah. Welcome to your
story,
life,
right?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
This
Thank
beer,
God he's gone, by the way.
this is very good, and I
it's
love
good beer.
a dark beer, and especially one like this where it's a lot of chocolate. What kind of chocolate do you have in here? Like pale chocolate or?
There's pale chocolate and
I think it's just pale chocolate.
I think it's just pale chocolate and regular chocolate. And then a little bit of roasted barley, special bee.
I was going to say how much special bee is in there.
The right amount is the answer.
This beer is a weird happy accident. We brewed it, and I don't think we had enough yeast, and it didn't finish. And it was at like 5.9, and I would like it to finish around like 4 Plato. So it wasn't far off.
Sure.
But I hated the way that it tasted on its own. I was like, it's just too sweet. It's got, and I'm not into these pastry stouts by any means. And so, if you think 5.9 Plato is gross, I can't even imagine a 15 Plato beer, like what that's going to taste like. So,
no, man, I'm all right with that.
We just ordered barrels and said, let's just see what happens. And it was just, I don't know, a lot of things. I wouldn't say we were just lucky, and it just timed out. It was like, oh, this should be ready around the time of our anniversary. We'll taste it a couple months in advance, see how it's doing. And 3 months out, definitely not enough oak character. And 4 months in, we're like, oh, okay, this is finally working. And then we just scheduled a can day, panicked on the artwork. And then,
clearly
put some UFOs in there.
Yeah. It's great artwork. I mean, everything.
It is. Actually, I really like the artwork.
It seems like when you guys panic, everything just kind of works out.
I would like
for the best anyway,
continue
right?
with that method.
No, I'm sure it's weighing heavy on your own personal timelines, but it's working out fine.
One other thing they didn't mention about this release was it was timed almost perfectly with the Area 51 raid.
It was that weekend.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well done.
Also my birthday. It was a complete accident.
Oh, damn, dude.
We're very socially relevant.
I feel that. I feel that vibe coming from you guys.
It was a complete accent that it was alien-themed artwork, and that happened to be the same day.
It was time.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this worked out well.
Listen to your PR guy. It was all planned.
I failed running with it on social media. I probably should have...
Wait, you did what? Don't say that part, by the way. We just whispered it.
That's right. We try to whisper. No, it's a very good beer. It does taste like there's more in it than it's just. There's nothing. You said pastry stout, and you weren't saying that there's like weird bullshit in here, right?
It's just,
yeah.
Oh, I think there's some Magnum.
That's weird.
That is weird.
In this day and age, that's a weird.
That's a weird thing to do. Because it does taste like sort of marshmallowy.
Yeah,
there's a creaminess going on. So you could fool me and say that there's like lactose, and you put marshmallows and fucking whatever else people do now.
Plastic chair.
Yeah.
Do you ever not enjoy a beer on this program?
Yeah. A lot. Oh. Yeah. Yeah. A lot. I have a list running underneath the table.
I almost tried the Alvarado banana daiquiri the other night because we saw it somewhere, and we just listened to this on the.
We listened on the way up here.
Yeah,
and I was like, "Do I do it?" And I'm like, "No, I'll get a fucking Pilsner."
Your voice was.
We were enjoying your moment though, JP.
I appreciate that.
Like fighting back the tears and the upchuck. And
it was. I mean, look, I brought a can of that home because I knew my wife would like it, and she didn't like it. But
she didn't like it.
No, she didn't like it. No. But we put rum in it, and it was better. I thought I'd probably mention it on the show too. I was like, this is a rum drink and whatever.
You had fun with it.
A Pilsner was a better choice because I think like we kind of think along the same lines. We're like, let's just kind of go with like this is a Pilsner. How do you go wrong with a Pilsner, right?
It happens.
Yeah. Well, that's true. Well, yeah, but I mean, for the most part, as a choice. But it is a good beer for what they were doing. And that's what I need to really work on in my own personal personality. Is that what you're trying to do with like a pastry stout with a bunch of crap in it? If that's the end point, and you go, this is what I wanted out of the thing. Okay, that's cool. It's not for me. It doesn't suck. It's just not for me.
We have not gone into the deep end yet. The hazy IPA was something we knew we were going to have to do.
That sucks.
We're like,
yeah.
Like, all right, we're doing this. Yeah. I am not going to be a complete stubborn asshole.
Yeah.
And I'm learning. I have friends who are much younger, and
hell yeah.
I have a friend who's an R&D brewer who is just doing nonsense. And we're going to make a beer together, probably in late December. And we've touched on what we're going to do.
I want to ask you about it, but I feel like you're being cagey on purpose because you can't talk about it.
No,
and so now I'm not going to talk about it.
We're going to throw Twinkies, I think.
Okay.
Twinkies. In the beer.
Right.
But the only reason that I caved on this is Ryan and I have a mutual love for the cult classic Weird Al film, UHF.
Okay, right, sure.
I love that movie.
So we talked about the idea that usually, if you can find a day that hasn't been claimed national this day, then you can probably file for it somewhere. And so we want to file for.
Can you imagine the federal department of this is a day?
We got another one here.
We want to make National Twinkie Wiener Sandwich Day. And for anybody who doesn't know what a Twinkie Wiener Sandwich is, it's a Twinkie that you slice open from the bottom, and you put a hot dog in, a heated hot dog, I would imagine. You can steam it.
Of course it would be.
Yeah. I mean, you put a cold one in there.
Well, I guess you could.
And then
it's going to be terrible.
Piece of cheese out of the can, right on top, and it's done.
Have any of you eaten this?
No.
I like a lot of terrible
Two or
things,
three
and that
times a
actually
week,
might cross the line for me.
It's really good.
But I have eaten a banana in a
horrible.
hot dog bun with ketchup and mustard on it.
Oh, yeah, you should ask him about his Instagram stories.
On my personal Instagram, I eat a lot of bananas with the cute filters, like, oh, I'm a puppy eating a banana.
But very slowly and deliberately, and it's mildly erotic.
No, it's for the love of bananas.
You're having fun with it. You're exploring
Look,
the side of yourself.
Yeah. It's either for the love of bananas or the love of puppies. Which one do you want to go with there?
I do love that puppy
banana
filter.
puppy.
What the fuck were we talking about? Twinkie wiener sandwiches.
Oh yeah, so we're gonna make a beer with Twinkies, but like, it's gonna end up being like a lactose kettle sour with fruit and God knows what else, and I'm gonna cringe while we're making it, but I'm gonna be like, it's.
But you got to do it, right?
We're friends, and the brewery he works for is owned by the distributor that distributes our beer in San Diego, and so that is a weird thing about this industry. Like, we are. By no means am I pooping on anything, but we're doing certain things.
Tread lightly.
It's called shitting.
Yeah.
To try and make our brand more relevant in a city that we're not from. Or I'm from there. I'm from San Diego, but we're not in San Diego, and San Diego is a very competitive market. And so I understand why it's encouraged for us to do more collaborations with breweries in San Diego.
Right.
And I started my career in San Diego, and a lot of my friends live there. And so it's not something that I'm against. I just hate going to a friend and saying, hi.
Let's be business people for about 4 weeks to 2 months.
But that's part of the fun, though. I mean, why is that such a hiccup? I mean, it's like that's a natural extension of, like, you know, what makes this industry great is that it's the collaborative spirit of, like, let's get together and make a beer.
Yeah, I personally really agree. And that's, I guess I came from a brewery that, which... I'm just going to shit all over
Man,
everybody.
Jason just really, like, just go, baby.
Get on the couch.
When I worked at Mason Ale Works,
Dr. Freud says.
Grant.
Get closer to the mic. If you notice, he's backing away from the microphone.
Really good friends.
What's his last name?
Grant Tondro. I hope he listens to this. I'll text him. Grant, listen to this. But they're distributed by Stone. Stone's constantly telling him, like, you need to do more collaborations so we can sell your beer so more people will know what your brewery is. And so in conversations, like, we'd be together meeting people and be like, hi, I'm Jim. Oh, nice to meet you, Jim. Want to do a collab? And
usually it's not the first thing out of your mouth.
So you're getting propositioned a lot for collabs.
No one's knocking down our door.
Okay.
They are all the time, and we have to fight them off.
There we go.
Well, speaking of collab,
charity.
Watch this transition. You're doing a collaboration with Drake's.
Yeah,
that's right
here in the Bay Area.
Go to drinkdrakes.com and learn all about Drake's. They're good people, and they support the show, and we support them.
So
and they're making good beer in the Bay Area for a long time, Sully. Longer than probably you've been around.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Yeah, that's true. What are you guys going to make?
What are you all making?
We're doing an enzyme lager.
What's an enzyme
without
lager?
calling it an enzyme.
A brute lager. Yeah.
Oh, a brute lager.
Call it the 4-letter word.
What's the 4-letter word?
That's a very taboo word.
They're no longer popular.
It was in the show notes, and it was like brewing an enzyme lager without using the 4-letter word. And I'm going,
that was me.
Yeast.
I almost
Can they
reworded
not
that.
fucking spell yeast? Am I broken? What for? I don't understand. I'm like,
apparently you can't say it anymore.
Apparently I can't. Brute.
So what do you? So you're doing.
There's a lot of beneficial things that come out of using this enzyme. I've seen ridiculous shelf stability just from hop flavor and aroma, and I don't know why people aren't using it more. I think there are a lot of people who use it that just don't say they're using it because it got a bad rap. I guess a lot of people made brute IPAs that weren't good.
Yeah. All of them. I don't think I ever had a good one.
Really?
Well,
yeah.
I've certainly had a lot of really good ones, and I know a lot of friends that are using them, especially when trying to make low-calorie lagers now. People are using that, and they're using Clarity Firm, and then still hopping it how they would hop an IPA, and so then you have a flavorful...
That sounds weird.
Low-calorie crispy boy, because that's what the kids want.
That's true.
Crispy boy.
All right.
We say this
CBs,
term
baby.
a lot.
Yeah, crispy boy.
Keep in mind, I've only had like 2 brewed IPAs, so...
Well,
when I say I've never had a good one,
it's possible that I don't know if you've had a crispy boy.
I don't know what that means, but I imagine it's deep fried, and I love it.
It's spelled B-O-I.
You sure? Oh, of course. I mean, that's a given. Yeah, for sure.
Do you know what a spooky boy is?
I'm gonna pass.
You know what a meme is?
No. I know what a meanie is.
I saw a spooky boy on.
The fuck is a spooky boy?
Is beer carb? Is brewer who used to work at Modern Times. I think she's like traveling right now.
Real quick, is beer a carb? Is
the Instagram?
It's the name of her Instagram.
Right. Okay.
And her girlfriend was drinking like a Dogfish Head pumpkin beer or something. It was just like just having a spooky boy.
I think you pronounce it pumpkin.
Oh,
pumpkin, yeah.
Okay, you got me there.
Yeah.
But I thought
dude.
it was the most brilliant thing ever. It was like, oh, she is now named what we're going to call pumpkin beers now because we have
Spooky Boys.
Spooky Boy.
All right. When the Crispy Boy is
a Pilsner.
A Pilsner. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
Or something that
any
is
light lager.
Light dry.
Yeah, it wouldn't be like a Dortmunder, but yeah, I got
So
you.
you have, you know what a haze boy is.
Yes, I do. Yeah,
haze bruh.
Yeah.
Well, now this is the antithesis. It's the crispy boy.
Okay.
And so...
And that's what you're doing. You're doing an enzyme-focused... Well, not focused, I guess, but a lager
it'll
that's...
Be dry. It'll be dry.
Okay, right.
Dry and we'll dry hop.
So what are you going to hop it with?
And I guess that's the point is like...
Equinox, I think.
And Willamette.
When you're using the enzymes, does that automatically mean that your beer is just bone dry like the brute IPAs, or can you control it like that and still get your shelf stability with a hop flavor and stuff, but have some sweetness to it?
It really depends on how you're using it. People use it on the mash side. People use it in the kettle. Problem with the mash side is your runoff is super long because it makes your mash so efficient.
Mm-hmm.
In the kettle, you can't kick on your kettle until your kettle's full, so it makes the day a little bit longer. You throw in the fermenter, you can be lazy as fuck and just say, all right, do your job, pal, and wish for the best.
Right.
We've done it all three ways. Every single time has been in a collab with another brewery.
Right. Well, those are really popular.
Whenever we would do a collab, I hate the idea of like going to another brewer and saying, well, what do you want to make? And like, if I'm going to be judged on what I want to make, so I go, let's do an enzyme lager. No one's going to judge me for that. And I just throw it out every time.
Okay. And finally, Drake's were like, let's put this kid out of his misery. Sure.
Yeah,
let's do one of these.
Well, not completely the way I said. I said, let's try CO2 extract in the kettle and then use cryo. But they don't have any cryo contracts. We don't have any contracts. So
I feel like like the way you work at collabs is like you're just bluffing into everything.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like, well, fuck. I mean,
you are right about the collaboration conversation because it is really like it's almost like a first date. You're kind of like talking to each other, like, well, I got this idea, and if everybody's kind of open to the process, you can create like you can come up with a great beer. But there is that little, especially if you don't know each other really well, you almost like you're kind of like inching your way up to the date. You're like, well, what do you think? I don't know. And it's just this whole like little dance that happens.
Yeah, we have not finalized the recipe. He said Willamette earlier, and when the recipe was shot back over, I was like, I'm really into Equinox, and I know that Yakima has it cryo on spot. Maybe we could do that. And the recipe had Willamette in it, and I was like, I don't even know Willamette. Like, I know Willamette from when I was a home brewer.
Right.
And
it's the same.
I don't know what it does. I don't even know what it tastes or smells like.
I don't know, man. Juicy.
No,
it's the juiciest hop on the market.
It's floral. It has like a light herbal note to it, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But
woody.
So we keep saying enzyme beer. How do you pronounce the enzyme?
Oh, amylase.
Yeah, and now that you've been drinking, I was going to ask you that because I know you've been drinking your 11% Imperial
I do know
IPA.
The diacetyl precursor.
I cannot pronounce this either, but I'm also not very smart with reading stuff like this. So.
Give it to the smart lab guy. Yeah. But scroll through his photos first.
Amyloglucosidase.
Yeah, there you go. Actually, we should just pass this around and have everybody read it.
Have we figured out what we're doing for the Golden Road collaboration?
Oh,
you're doing a Golden Road collaboration.
Let's back this up.
You're doing an Anheuser-Busch collaboration?
We're not doing a Golden Road collaboration.
Okay.
But we had a moment at our 1-year anniversary.
Well, real quick, do you guys know we all met at Golden Road?
Yeah.
Okay. We went in.
Thanks, Joe.
Yeah,
that was.
Why are you showing everyone your butthole?
2.5 hours ago. Yeah.
Someone's gonna be sucking.
Hell yeah.
Goodness.
So a friend who was, I think he was the lead brewer at Golden Road when I worked there, who is also Ryan's brother's wife's brother.
Jesus Christ.
There's like a weird
my
thing. where, like,
brother-in-law, basically.
Okay.
We all happen to just know each other in the small world. He was at our 1-year anniversary, hammered out of his mind, like he is every time he comes to our brewery.
Hell yeah.
Wow.
I won't name names, but he, worked at. Can I? No, don't say where he's ever worked. Okay, good.
Joe and Jason are holding hands right now.
Joe the editorial gene just kicked in on Joe for once in the show.
Yeah, talking about his butthole.
He'll
and
say
he
anything
just held
else.
my hand and said, "Do not name names."
This isn't funny. Stop laughing.
So he said to me while we're just walking through our cellar.
You're still holding hands, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
You guys can let go.
He taught me a lot because that's where I started my career.
Yeah.
I was a home brewer and I learned so much from him, and he was really condescending when he taught me things, but I appreciated it.
Yeah.
But he said, out of all of the teams that I've ever worked with, and I've worked at so many breweries,
Holding hands right now.
This was the best brewing team that I've ever worked with.
Oh.
We didn't make the greatest beer, but it was an awesome team.
Well, but you work with what you got.
It was hard to take seriously while Joe was holding hands with us.
Yeah.
He's really handsy.
Yeah. The John Lasseter of brewing over here.
Who wants a hug?
So I said to him, I'm like, do you want to see if we can't get the whole old crew, because no one works there anymore. They all work at other breweries, and apparently I'm not allowed to name names of breweries that they work at, but they're spread
it's a work
all
in
over.
progress.
Yeah,
so we don't want to.
You don't want to spook anybody.
And
Gotcha.
some of them have said very specifically, if we're going to attach our brand to this, we have to do it in a very careful way to make sure that we're not shitting on anything.
Sure.
And just make sure that we're going about it the right way.
Be positive,
Of course.
Yeah, which I'm all for. Like I said before, like it is a weird thing where you're like, oh, Golden Road. I don't drink that stuff. Not that I do, but
because that's me. That's my mentality. Like, the Founders bullshit and the Golden Road and the St. Archer. Again, not like I really did in the first place, but like, well, the whole thing that's going on now, right? Yeah, you're online.
He loves racing.
You're online. That's why he's here.
We already had this conversation about your draft list earlier.
I walked in and talked to Eric. I was like, oh, a lot of Founders on, huh? He's like, yeah. I'm like, but that's pretty ballsy. Yeah, I guess. But no one but a lot of people don't really care.
But that was a good conversation that we had, was the person who is the Founders sales rep here, that's his job.
Still has a job.
It's been his job. He didn't
say
from
the
this
things
lineage of Founders to become who he is. So he's got his job to do, and so good for this place for still supporting that sales rep, and that's what he's got to do. He's got to hit his numbers.
Yeah. But do you think there's there's a disconnect? And I guess that's what I was maybe awkwardly trying to get at earlier in the conversation, was that disconnect between craft versus macro owned, still masquerading or trying to pretend to be craft, like the Ballast Point. They have craft in their tagline or whatever, right? Like, is it disingenuous, or like Lagunitas, where you build your brand on craft and then you sell out and then now everything's sort of going to shit? Is it how as an employee in the industry, if you need a job, do you reconcile with maybe getting a job at a bigger brewery that's not necessarily craft? I'm air quoting.
I don't know, because quickly had the desire not to work for somebody else.
Yeah. Man, not Ryan. Joe's. Sorry, Ryan. I didn't mean to insult you.
He's the microphone, please.
Yeah.
You distracted me, and now I am lost. But I will find.
Don't worry about it. It's a bullshit question.
No, it's a really good question.
No,
I think.
It's a bigger conversation.
It
is.
As
It's
a
like,
consumer,
what is craft?
I don't know.
Yeah.
As a consumer, I don't know.
I don't know either.
As someone who works in this industry, I will never look at these breweries and be like, fuck that place.
Yeah.
It's people like me that work for a brewery who maybe don't want to go find another job brewing for another place, or like maybe that's not as important for them. It's a weird thing to me to think I have so much integrity about what it is that I make that I'm just not going to associate with those people.
I'm not going to go to some party because they're boring or whatever.
It's like you have friends in this industry. I mean, like I know Vic from Golden Road. I know Jeremy Marshall from Lagunitas. I mean, there's people who are good friends of mine. They worked at these breweries before anything happened, and they need people have to have
people
jobs.
Have lives, yeah.
And you got to continue on, and you make beer, and as a consumer, you decide whether you want to participate in that venture with them by buying their beer or not. But and that's fine. That's why we have free choice. That's where you can buy a beer or not buy a beer.
That's right.
And so I think that but they're also people too. They're good friends of mine, and they've helped me out when I've been in a pickle before with materials or technology or something, and I will never slight them for it. So, but I understand how people get worked up about it, and I respect that too.
I respect it, but like some people really get so worked up,
and that's fine. There's people who are like on all sides of the fence on anything. Where you have people where the pendulum swings, pretty far in one direction, and maybe the other. So I just think that's what's great about start playing the Star Spangled Banner right now. That's what's great about this country is that you can like. You can have a choice, and you choose to participate in something or not participate in something.
I would have played it, but I don't want to stand up and take my hat off.
It's fine. Don't take your hat off.
I'm at half mast right now.
But yeah, I mean, this has gotten to a late night conversation mode. But that's how I feel at least. And you can feel a different way too. Look at me! I'm so damn inclusive right now. It's amazing.
We are a family-owned small business.
Yeah.
We're clearly an independently owned business. Do you use? This is something that I did not mention in my list of things that I get heated about.
Uh-oh.
And I'm not heated, but the independent logo. Do you guys use that on your cans?
We don't use that, and we use it for a variety of different reasons. One actually goes back to the fact that. This is a litigious society, and we have been sued before for some outrageous things. Like you think, what the fuck, that's happening to you right now? And yeah, that happened. And so we were concerned, and that logo being a bottle on a box of cans that could be construed as that you have cans or you have bottles in that box. Because that's how it goes.
Wow!
I never thought about it. Like a literal, iconic, misinterpretation.
Yeah, and I could talk further about that logo, but I'm not going to because I'm a big supporter of the BA. We just choose not to use the logo, but I wish they would have chosen a different logo. Just as speaking right now about it is that. We're in an area right now where everybody's going to cans. It's the most popular package. It's growing, every day, and it's a bottle. I have a little bit of I get pinched up about that, and I've expressed my views to them about that.
Sure,
we have. I'll say we.
We are also big supporters of the BA. And we do not use the logo.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we have gotten a little bit of flack, but not a ton. But like some people will say, like, why aren't you using the independent logo?
Mm-hmm. Like you're not supporting the industry by being in it.
Yeah. I support the independent mandate. I support the BA and what they do about that and promoting craft beer at that level because it's a slog out there for us as independent brewers. But it's just a thing, and so. We communicate in different ways.
By no means am I anti-independent because we trickled down from Golden Road and St. Archer. Just a clear...
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
No, so you've heard it first. Ogopogo is pro buyouts. So...
Anyone
That's
listening?
happening.
You can have our assholes.
We will sell Joe.
Just mine.
Yeah. Go to ogopogobrewco.com and learn more. Apparently you can buy beer online. You can buy their beer online.
Yeah,
literally new to me.
The people at Bev will be very excited.
There you go, Bev. Bev is branching out into her own little industry. I appreciate that about you.
If I do anything, it's not going to be in this industry. There will be a Beverly-shaped hole in that door.
Well, I don't know about that. Thanks, guys.
Thank
for
you.
coming in.
This is fun.
I really appreciate it. Go to ogopogobrewco.com to learn more
Twitter
about the
game.
boys. Oh, well, yeah, we're going to take a break.
Okay, sorry.
We're going to come back and we're going to do the whole thing.
I'm sorry. I don't sit in the seat very often. I stepped all over the plug there at the end there, too.
Yeah, that's all right.
Ogopogo.com, right?
Yeah, Ogopogo.com.
I think someone owns both of them.
You can hire.
And we're too broke to buy them.
Well, make more hazy
Wait,
IPA,
so what's
I guess.
the URL?
Ogopogo Brew Co. I'm sure that we could buy the Ogopogo Brewing.com.
Somebody owns
that?
Yeah. Well, someone owns it just for the sake of hoping that someone will buy it one
They're
day.
sitting on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, but then never even approach them, because fuck that. Ogopogo Brew Co. sounds better anyways.
I think it sounds great.
Yeah, especially when you're on the phone with a bank and you're trying to give them your email address.
They're like, can I speak to your dad, please? Trying to come. No, that's my name. It's the thing. It's the whole thing.
I've given out my own wrong email multiple times because it's like by default I'm thinking ogopogobrewing.com
Right.
for my email at Ogopogo Brewing, and I always forget that it's at Ogopogo Brew Co.
Well, see, there you go.
Now I'm confused. I don't even know what it is now.
I know. I give up.
All I know is
Brewco.com.
I'm sitting on that URL if you want to talk to me after the show.
Yeah. Turns out the asshole you were talking about is me. It's literally.
We have a lot to talk about.
Literally me.
I'm fired.
All right, everybody. Stay tuned. We're going to come back and we're going to do the Twitter game because Sully is really up my ass about it. And then we're going to get out of here. What do you think, Sully?
I'm totally
you
into
ready?
the Twitter game.
Well, thank you for
I like this one.
Yeah, thanks a lot for coming in, guys. I appreciate it. Good luck on your brew day with Drake's tomorrow. I look forward to
With the enzyme.
hearing about
Four-letter word. Enzyme. I can't pronounce the half of my glasses over me.
the four-letter word enzyme. All right. Stay tuned, everybody. We'll be right back.
This is Matt Brynolson from Firestone Walker Brewing Company, and you're listening to The Session on the Brewing Network.
Welcome back, everybody. We're going to wrap things up here.
All right.
But before we do, let me ask you about the hair on above and around your balls and penis.
Okay.
For just a second, please. How?
Please, more than one.
What would you like to know?
Well, you know what? Do you ever feel the need that things are too long, perhaps, down there? The hair, not the penis. Maybe the balls, too. I don't know. Maybe the balls are too long, and you need to... anyway, I don't know.
Are you saying that we all might need a little cleaning up from time to time?
Well, I think landscaping down there, or manscaping, as you know, the popular term has been coined, is important thing to be doing for the health of any sort of obtrusive and pointy or round fleshy objects that might or might not be below your belly button. So you can go to manscaped.com, and we have a code in there. Apparently, it's Brewing. So you use the code Brewing, and I believe the offer's 20% off and free shipping.
Oh, okay, that's pretty good.
If you want to do that, but they have a whole bunch of products for your balls and your pubic hair area, and I can say that because it's scientific. It's a scientific term. If I said like dick hair, then that wouldn't be appropriate. But it's pubic hairs that need to be shorn off, and your scrotum needs to be cleaner, and a whole this kind of thing. So the Lawnmower 2.0, that is, from what I understand, the best way to do it. I don't have mine yet. Justin drunkenly gave the one that was slotted for me away, and I'm not bitter about it at all.
There's always time.
Yeah, it's like you know those downstairs for me. It's like, you know, those like video games where there's like been an apocalypse and nature sort of grows back. But it's all just out of control and weird. That's what my pubic area looks like right now. So I desperately need one of these. But what they also have is like ball deodorant.
Yeah, you need to. You want to smell fresh, and for yourself and for your partner.
Yeah, you want to feel fresh too, even if you're like a vocel or something like that, and you just you just want to feel good. You feel good, and you look good, and you are good, right? Yeah,
you feel more confident.
Wow, Jason just comes walking in. We're talking about balls.
About what?
Balls.
Testicles.
Yeah.
Human testicles.
Some of my best friends are Native Americans.
Okay. Perfect. Anyway, so go to manscaped.com, use code Brewing. There's even a crop cleanser, which is a hair and body wash. All sorts of cool stuff over there. And it's cool stuff, man. You need to check it out. 20% off, free shipping.
Free shipping.
It is cool.
Yeah. And it'll be cooler when you remove all of the hair off of your balls and penis area.
It's weird, the penis area hair.
It is weird, right? It's like, why do I have... Why there?
I don't have enough penis anyway.
Twitter game.
That's right. I don't have enough penis. Yeah, Manscaped, work on that. Work on giving me more penis.
I've never seen Beverly embarrassed in a show. She's behind the glass right now with her face covered in shame.
Yeah, in shorn pubic hair.
She's in this...
Taken from the floor like a barber shop.
I guess you could say that.
Yeah. I mean, all right, I can figure that out.
I'm just trying to sell some beer.
Well, I'll tell you what, you should do a collab with Manscaped and call it...
Show each other our pubic hair?
Yes, let's do that. Let's just pop one ball out, and then we can all judge each other. Twitter game, Bev. How did we do on the Twitter game, my friend? My close personal friend, Beverly?
Hold on, let me put my headphones back on.
Yeah, Jason gave me a thumbs up, so it's pretty good.
Okay.
Do you remember the Twitter game? Does it say on the thing?
It says on the thing.
All right,
we
tell
just
me.
got word the BN has been invited.
Do me a favor, talk into the microphone, not near it, please.
Sorry.
Thank you very much.
This is my first time.
Yeah.
We just got word the BN's been invited to the White House. We aren't sure why. Help us figure it out.
All right, help us figure it out.
Help us figure it out. Help.
Help! I need a reason, help, as to why I'm here at all.
What do you have on your voice? I know that there's a decent amount of compression going on, but her microphone sounds very different.
What do you mean?
I sound like I'm coming from Mars all the time.
I have no idea. I think it's the room, and I mean, she has a shitty SM58, I think is what it is.
I don't talk very much, so they don't care what they give me.
SM58's
That's some pretty hot
common
shop talk right now.
live music vocal microphone.
Yeah, but
Get out
I
of
think
here.
I don't know, man. I don't know. This is
It is
there's a
actually.
name on it. I don't know what it is. Electro voice.
Giving me a microphone.
It sounds great.
From the Jets.
There you go. Jason's just paying attention finally. All right. How many do you got? You got like
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Good.
5.
Perfect.
That's awesome.
Let's go.
Chuck Barron said Trump thought the BN Army was a private military and wanted to hire us as his private security.
Okay.
I like that.
That was a good one, right?
From Chuck Berry?
No.
I thought he was dead.
Chuck Barron.
Oh.
No, Chuck. C-H-O-O-K. God, I hate you. Joshua Chauvin said, y'all must have been matched on farmersonly.com. Good luck with that.
That's pretty good.
That's a good one.
Brian Chaplin said he wanted help with a Russian Imperial Stout recipe to impress his buddy. To impress a buddy of his, but doesn't want to buy Jamil's book.
Timely.
I think that's pretty good. I'm not going to lie about
so far,
that.
so good.
All right. Next.
Trump heard Bevo was okay with BN sexual harassment. He's really just inviting her.
Oh.
I don't like that one.
Yeah, it's layers on that, too. I'm going to say Bevo, and I'm going to spell it properly,
spelled,
too.
yeah.
B-E-V-O.
B-E-V-O.
Bevo. All right.
And this one says, because at real Donald Trump knows you helped make craft beer great again, and he's still struggling with America.
Damn.
Hey, wow.
God, I don't even know how to summarize that one.
I forgot to write the last one down.
Okay.
But,
well, you're typing it, so it's different.
No. It's easy to find. It's right here.
Okay.
Give me a second. The first lady has it? No.
What's that one?
Yeah.
I don't know how to say this person's name, but obviously to celebrate finally getting rid of Beardy.
A post-bearding of a post-beardy.
Mr. Gwippo?
Yeah.
Sure. Let's just go with Mr. Gwippo.
Let's go with Mr. Gwippo.
Yeah, he's like, it's Wappo. Fuckers. Okay. So we were hired as a private security firm. We were matched on Farmers Only. Homie needs help with a Russian Imperial Stout. He knows that Bevo is easy. Essentially, right? That's the spirit of it.
Dare you?
Yeah, I mean,
I didn't write that tweet.
That's the president's.
There you go. Something about craft beer, I really don't remember. And then to celebrate getting rid of Beardy, finally. I think they're all pretty good.
I think they're good. What was the second one?
We were matched on farmersonly.com. Well, let's go down the list.
Let's do it.
We were hired.
Are we voting here?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. You guys vote.
Security. Go ahead. Anybody? Private security tweet.
Raise your hand.
Is that going to be? No?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No?
Joe.
No.
Joe. No. I don't know what he's doing.
Not quite. I'm a little limp.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Joe's halfway on his.
So that's gone. If Joe doesn't like it, it doesn't hang. You know what I'm trying to say? We were matched on farmersonly.com, which I kind of don't really sort of understand.
I think it's because it's a dating site, and there's farmers.
Oh no, farmersonly.com is a thing.
No, I understand, but like,
look at Vivo's like, no, you don't understand. That's how I met my husband. It's a total thing.
Yeah.
When you first read it, you said that it was good.
Yeah, but I guess I lied.
When I'm hearing these come across, most of them I'm not even understanding.
Well, welcome to the show.
And then I felt really dumb because you're like, okay, that's good.
And you're like, oh fuck. Well, as a former homeless person, you should just trust me.
Just focus on the enzyme.
I think that on behalf of the homeless population, we shouldn't assume that they're all dumb.
That's right.
I do think that is what that last one is about. They're sort of implying that like Trump voters are kind of
farmers only.
Yeah, which is insulting to farmers.
It's true.
That being said, fuck Trump.
I'm going to take out the farmers only because I realize I don't really fucking get it. The Russian Imperial Stout, though, who liked that one? I kind of like that one too.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's unanimous. Then read that one again, please, Bev.
Hang on.
Because the association is Russia.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it ties into the beer.
Right.
You see, it's a tie-in.
Oh, yeah.
He wants help with a Russian Imperial Stout recipe to impress a buddy of his, but doesn't want to buy Jamil's book.
See,
and it has the Jamil tie-in.
Let's go.
There's
the winner.
I mean, I will say I think it's a little easy, but I think it's funny.
I think it's funny.
So congratulations to
it's clever.
Whoever it was.
That person. Who is it?
Brian Chapin.
Brian Chapman, congratulations. You've won the Twitter game.
Brian. All right.
Okay.
BMC Chapin.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Everyone knows that, Bev. I think that's it. I think we're done.
I think we're done. I think this is it.
Yeah.
We did all right. I think we did okay.
I think we did fine.
Yeah, I don't think Joe said too many uncomfortable things.
Oh no, we'll talk about that in the post meeting. But anyway,
that's right. Yeah, there's an hour wrap up meeting that you guys have to attend to just to make sure. What's
otherwise, we
on.
don't air the show.
I'm going to hug all of you as hard as I can.
That's right. You did say punk, right?
No, of course.
Okay. Ogopogo Brewery, OgopogoBrewCo.com. Ogopogo Brewing. Thanks, guys, for coming in. Appreciate it very much.
Yeah, thanks again.
It was
great.
A pleasure. If you're in town, hit us up and applaud yourself.
Applaud yourself. It's good for the radio. It's good for the radio.
Dad.
And then if you want more programming like this, tough shit. It's our last show ever. No, I'm just kidding. There's a ton more stuff online. Go check it out. We've been around since 2005. If maybe this is your first show, I don't know why it would be. But you got Dr. Homebrew, Heads and Tails. A new episode will drop. Let's just say this week sometime, so you can have that to look forward to, quote unquote. And anyway, until next time, everybody, take care of each other.